Hello boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to this live session as a part of the IBPS PO Prelims Examination 2017 Refresher Series brought to you by GradeUp and TalentSprint. Yes, you've heard it right, that this is the first time that the two organizations, GradeUp and TalentSprint, have come together to help the student community, the aspirants for bank exams who are getting ready for IBPS PO 2017 exam, help and score more in their examination. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm sure all of you are also very keen and excited to learn through these sessions. Right now, I hope all of you are in good health and your preparation for this IBPS PO prelims examination, which is tentatively scheduled to start from the 7th of October, is in high gear. We are on 18th of September today, so we have about 17-18 days left for the D-Day, right? So I think high time that you wrap up your preparation in terms of learning different concepts or all the different types of concepts and shortcuts and smart methods to answer various questions across all the topics, and practice as much as possible, right? I think these 17-18 days left for the first slot of IBPS PO preliminary examination must be efficiently used for practicing more and more, because the more you practice, the easier it gets. Remember guys, IBPS PO exam, or for that matter any bank exam or any competitive exam these days, is all about speed and accuracy. It's all about managing your time efficiently there, right? And that can come only through sheer practice, right? Just depending on shortcut formula or a smart method is not going to help. Unless you're able to apply the right technique at the right time, you will not be able to score more in the exam, right? So take it for granted that the more you practice, the easier it gets. All right. Now, before we get into the discussion about this session, the first session as a part of this series, let me quickly talk about this partnership that you have between GradeUp and TalentSprint, and what are we going to do as a part of this refresher series, right? I'll just take 2 minutes for that and then we can get started. So basically, I'm sure all of you know about GradeUp and you know about TalentSprint, right? I mean, we have been interacting through a lot of live sessions which we do on YouTube, and also through the programs that we have for bank exam preparation on the TalentSprint platform. Now, this is the first time that these two organizations have come together, and yes, for the sole with the sole objective of helping the bank exams aspirants fraternity, right? Now, I'm sure this is going to be really fruitful for all of you. What we are going to do here is solve some questions relevant for your IBPS PO preliminary examination, and through these questions we will try to touch various concepts across different topics of different sections and help you refresh and get ready for this examination, right? Well, when I say that, I don't mean to anyway say that just attending these sessions would suffice your preparation, right? This is only to refresh the concepts and boost your preparation before you appear for the D-Day, right? So the point is, yes, these sessions are really going to be helpful to refresh the concepts and get that confidence before you go for your examination. I'm sure all of you have started your preparation at least 2-3 months ago, and some of you must have been preparing for more than a year now, right? I mean, those who all could not make it last year would also give a shot this year again, right? So with all that preparation and efforts that you've already put in, these refresher sessions would only enhance your learning and boost your confidence before you go for this examination. So as a part of this refresher series, we will be doing 7 sessions, 6 of which are going to be on content, which is quantitative aptitude, reasoning ability, and English language, and 1 session is going to be on exam strategy. All right, I'm sure all of you have access to the calendar of these 7 live sessions, right? You can just see on the top right of your screen to check the dates of other sessions, and TalentSprint students can anyway access the events calendar that they have in their dashboard, right? So the idea or the breakup of these 7 sessions is as follows. We'll do 2 sessions each on quantitative aptitude, reasoning ability, and English language. So that makes 2 times 3, 6 sessions, and 1 session on exam strategy, where our focus will be on how do we behave in that 1 hour of your IBPS PO preliminary examination, right? Now, what do we do in these subject related sessions? We'll be solving questions from different topics. Where are these questions coming from? These questions have been collated by the GradeUp team, right? They have lakhs of aspirants appearing for those who are appearing for bank exams on their platform. So they have these questions chosen from their mock tests based on the student performance, right? They have chosen the toughest of the questions, or toughest not really in terms of the difficulty level, but toughest in terms of let's say less number of people have appeared for this particular question, right? Or less number of students have got it right? A very small percentage of students have got the answer right, which goes to show that something is really tricky about this one. Students are not able to answer this, or maybe they've got the right answer, but they've ended up spending a lot of time to arrive at that. So again, this goes to show that something can be done here in order to arrive at the answer faster. All right. So these questions have been very meticulously collated by GradeUp team. So that's where GradeUp comes into picture in providing us these questions. And yes, TalentSprint will help you with smart ways to answer these questions. All right. So this is really going to be exciting. We can quickly get started now. But before that, let me also mention that there's this chat box available right beside the video screen, right? And you can use that to interact with us. So at any point of time, if you have any questions or any queries that you want me to address based on what is being discussed here, please feel free to post it to the chat box, and I would love to address those. All right. I can by the way see that a lot of you have joined the chat already, right? To name a few, we have Shanke Kumar, Diksha Kaushik, Sid Shaw, then we have Chinna Swami, Banita, Rakhi Saraf, right? Irfan. Then we also have a lot of student on the TalentSprint platform, right? John, Apurva Rawat, Saket, Nagini, Vishnu, Ravi, Shravan Kumar, Bhavya. So great to see you all, right? We also have Raghavan and others joining here, right? Vivek Nayak, Leela Devi, Pooja Shri, Deepak. Good. So good to see you all joining in the session. I'm sure all of you are ready to get started. I might have missed a few names because the chat is like flooded with all your comments here. So I'll try and address as many of you as possible during the session. So if you're all set, we can get started, right? I'll share my screen here, present the questions to you all, give you some time to try it out yourself first, and then discuss the solution, right? But before that, if you have any question that you want me to answer, please post it there. I mean, not the subject question, but anything about how is this going to work out, and anything in general about your IBPS preliminary examination. Yeah, Priya, Manikanta, Varsha, Chiranjeevi, Vikash Kumar, Sandhya, Nagini, Monika, Shashikant Kumar, Rahul Mishra. Great to see you all, right? Monday evening, 7 p.m. and all of you are here. It shows that you are focused about your IBPS preliminary examination. I think that should be the focus for the remaining 18-19 days that you have, right? I mean, don't get distracted by anything, right? Be it WhatsApp or Facebook or any kind of social media. This time is not going to come back, so you have to pull your socks up and make sure that you leave no stone unturned and practice as much as you can, right? So let's get started with the first session, and let me also tell you that the next session as a part of this series will be held on Friday, right? This Friday, which I guess would be 22nd of September at the same time, 7 p.m. Now that session will be on reasoning ability. We are starting with quantitative aptitude, right? So the first session as a part of the IBPS Pure Refresher series brought to you by GradeUp and TalentSprint on quantitative aptitude starts now. I'll share the screen, present the questions. I'm sure we're going to start with something really very interesting, right, which is on data interpretation. I can already see a lot of comments about data interpretation, right? Many of you want me to solve questions on data interpretation, and these days we have also seen that in the SBI PU exam held this year and the SBI and IBPS PU exams held last year, data interpretation was given high weightage, right? And the type of questions have also changed now, right? Earlier it used to be like regular DI question where some graph or table or pie chart is shown to you with some data about some companies or cities, and you got to answer those questions followed by it. But these days we see that the type of questions have changed, right? One, that the data is missing, data itself is missing. So if you have a table in data interpretation, you find that some of those cells are blank. Now you should not go blank by looking at those blank cells. Take it easy. understand whatever is given there and then move to the questions. Proceed with the questions, because whatever is missing there can be filled up using the data given in the question, right? The relevant data would be given in the question, right? So one is that the data is missing. The second change that we have seen is a lot of arithmetic ability concepts have been brought into data interpretation. Like we have seen that questions on time and work are being asked in data interpretation. Questions on time and distance or boats and streams are being presented in the form of a DI question, or questions on profit and loss, or simple and compound interest, or mensuration, or ratio and proportion. These different concepts are being tested through data interpretation. So nothing new in my view, right? It's all about being thorough with those concepts. If you know how to solve questions from time and work, you'll be able to answer these questions as well. It's just that the data has been presented in the form of a graph, or in the form of a table, or in the form of a pie chart, right? So it's all about analyzing the data and trying to solve the questions. Okay, but I think one thing which remains common from last year to this year is that calculation is still the key, right? I mean, that's one tool that all of you must carry. You have to be really quick and sharp in your calculations. If you cannot do your calculations quickly, mentally, without having to put on pen on paper, and if you end up writing everything on paper, or if you struggle with doing the simple 2-digit multiplications or percentage based calculations, then nothing can help you, right? So my sincere advice to all of you out there is to spend some time every day on practicing on numbers, because any question from quantitative aptitude cannot be solved without being able to play with those numbers. All right, so on that note, let me share the first question with you all, and here we go. So the IBPS Pure Prelims 2017 Refresher Series, the first session on quantitative aptitude, brought to you by GradeUp and TalentSprint, and here's the first question, or the first set of questions rather, from this session on quantitative aptitude. So here we go. Look at this data. What does it say? It says study the following information carefully and answer the question given below. So basically this is a data interpretation question. You can see that a graph has been given here, a sort of line graph, and it says that the line graph shows the volumes in centimeter cube. The line graph shows the volumes in centimeter cube. So looks like a simple data point, right? I mean, we have got some types here. If you look at the x-axis, we have got type A, type B, type C, type D. The y-axis has got some numbers here, right? So which I'm sure is the volume in centimeter cube as given here. Now there are 4 different lines, right? There's a green line, then there's a red one, there's a purple line, and there's one in blue color, right? Now what does these represent? I think the details have been given here, right? The blue line is for cylinder, the red one is for cone, the green one here is for cube, and the one that is in purple is for cuboid, right? Now, so clearly the question is going to be on mensuration. I mean, this data interpretation, like you all can understand now, is on mensuration, because we have talked about different 3D objects here, right? Cylinder, cone, cube, cuboid, and then it also talks about volume as the key point here. So I think simple data, there's nothing complex about reading the graph. Of course, some of the values are missing. So you can see that like for this purple line, for example, which represents the cuboid, there is no data for type A. This value is missing here, right? Then similarly for type C, again, the number is missing. Some numbers have been given, but not all the numbers. Like for the red line, which indicates cone, for type B, the number is missing, right? Then for the blue line, again, type B and type C is missing. So we don't really know what type A, type B, type C, and type D are, but it looks like different types of these solid objects here, right? Now, before I move on to the questions here, you all have to read and understand the data carefully, right? I mean, this is of course a simple one. Volumes have been given, but otherwise, remember, try and analyze what all can be extracted from the given data, right? I'm sure most of the times we end up, performing well in data interpretation because we don't read the data carefully, right? We jump to the questions. We are in a hurry. You know that time is limited. So you move on to question number 1 without analyzing the given data. Spend some 30-45 seconds, try and find out what all can be obtained from the data, and then move on. That would make your performance better, right? That would make it easy for you to solve the questions. Anyways, nothing much to talk about. I mean, simple point is, if I have to find out the volume of cone A, type A of cone, right? Cone of type A, it's 594, right? If I have to, let's say, check the volume of the cylinder of type D, Now cylinder of type D is 891, right? The cylinder of type D is 891. Then let's say the cuboid of type B, right? What's the volume of the cuboid of type B? So type B cuboid, the volume is 693. I think numbers are given there. Now if you carefully observe, I think the numbers which are not given on the graph here can be clearly extracted from the y-axis here. I think if you observe, only those numbers which are a little typical have been mentioned. Like for example, let me say, let me choose this. Let's say if I have to find out the volume of cuboid of type A. Now you see, it exactly lies on this. There are some thin lines given in the foreground, right? So just move on and meet the y-axis. Where does it meet? It meets somewhere here. See, understand that between two consecutive lines here, dark lines here, the difference is how much? 50, 300 to 350, 350 to 400, 400 to 450. So 50 is the difference between two consecutive values here. And if you observe, there are these have been split into five segments, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. So basically, if the line, let's say wherever the graph is meeting somewhere in the first line, I can say it is 10. Whatever is the base plus 10. If it is on the second line, 20, then 30, then 40, and then 50, right? So for example, if the value is between 900 and 950 and the graph meets the third line, what does it mean? I mean, second line, let's say. So first line would mean 900 plus 10. Second line would mean 900 plus 20. I mean, you should be able to read this. I can maybe zoom this a little bit to explain this, right? Like for example, look at this now. Right, 900 to 950. I'm sure you all understand this, but just for the sake of, for the benefit of those who have not tried such question in the past. So 900 to 950, there are 5 divisions. So each division would mean 10, right? So 910, 920, 930, 940, 950, and so on. Okay. So you got to clearly understand that. So very simple, volumes of different types of objects, which are of again 4 different types, have been given here. Now let me present the first question to you all, which is on your screens now. Look at this. The question number 1 based on this data here. It says type C cube is cut into 2 centimeter cubes. What is the percentage increase in the total surface area after such cutting? So there's this type C cube, right? The graph has been given here on the right hand side. So type C cube has been cut into 2 centimeter cubes. Type C cube has been cut into 2 centimeter cubes. What is the percentage increase in the total surface area after such cutting? So basically there is a big cube that we have, type C, right? Type C cube. Type C cube, you can see the volume is given as 512, right? Just to highlight, for type C cube, the volume here is 512, right? Type C and cube is represented by this green line, right? So 512. So volume is 512. So there is a cube of, volume 512 centimeter cube, which has been cut into 2 centimeter cubes. Now this cube has been cut into smaller cubes of side 2 centimeter each. The question here is, what is the percentage increase in the total surface area after such cutting? What is the percentage increase in the total surface area after such cutting? Now, one point that I would like to highlight before we proceed with the solution is the average time which has been spent and the accuracy for this particular question. By the way, this question has been chosen from the mock test 1 provided by GradeUp. This I think question number 6 or 7 from that particular mock test. Now you see, average time spent to arrive at the answer in this question was 106 seconds, which is close to 2 minutes, right? 1 minute and 46 seconds. But the accuracy is just 14%, which means if 100 students have attempted this question, only 14 of them have got it right, and the rest 86 of them have got it wrong. So definitely very less percentage has got it right. And secondly, look at the average time spent, 106 seconds. 106 seconds is almost 2 minutes, right? Do we have 2 minutes in an IBPS preliminary examination? No. We have 100 questions with only 60 minutes of time, right? On an average, you have just about 36 seconds or exactly 36 seconds per question. And here you spend 106 seconds, which is 3 times the average time given to you, right? 36 times 3 is 108. Anyway, let's not worry too much about this. I am leaving you all with this question for, let's say, 1 minute or a little more than that. It just depends on the numbers, kind of responses that I get. And your clock starts now. Let's see how many of you get it right. We have to find out the change in the total surface area after the larger cube is cut into smaller cubes. What is the percentage change in the total surface area after the larger cube has been cut into smaller cubes? 1 minute, at least 1 minute is what you have, 60 seconds. The clock has already started, waiting for responses to come in. Okay, I can see answers coming in already. Nikunj Agarwal has got 400%. Amit Negi has got 400%. Abdul Rauf says it is 100. So I think option 3 versus option 4. Bishnu has got 300%, which is not there in the options at all. On the other side, we have Sridhar who has got 300%. Ajay says it is 75%, option 2. Vishnu Prasad has got 400%. Yeah. Preeti has got 400%. Preeti Deepak has got 4%, option 1. So you guys have covered all the options. I mean, 100% is left out, but otherwise, you know, you've got 4%, you've got 75%, you've got 400%. Some of you have got what? 300%, which is option 5. None of these. Waiting for more responses before we look at the solution. I'm sure all those who have got the answer want me to try it out immediately, but let us all wait for your fellow students to follow up, right? I mean, all of you give it a proper try and then we will discuss the solution. More responses. And if you're not able to solve it, if you have got stuck, please do mention that in the chat so that we get to know how many of you are struck with this one. Like Sagar Singh has mentioned that he's struck. Paras has got none of these, right? We have Monica who's got 75%, Pooja Goel is struck, Varsha has got none of this, Vinay has got 300%, Arpita Majumdar, Arun, Harita, all these guys are stuck. Yeah. Sharath has mentioned that he's not able to solve, Sairam is struck, Manikanta has got none of these. Good, I can see a lot of you commenting that you are struck. So it shows that this is actually a difficult one, right? And those who have got it have got 400% mostly, right? Most of you have got 400%. All right. Okay, so clearly most of you have failed to arrive at the answer. You have got stuck or you have skipped it. Those who all have got it have got either 400% or 300%, option 5, none of this, right? So between these two, I think there's a fight. And some of you have also got 4% and 75%. So let's take up the solution now. I think enough time has been given. Let me discuss the solution with you all. So here we go. The question reads, type C cube is cut into 2 centimeter cubes. Type C cube is cut into 2 centimeter cubes. What is the percentage increase in the total surface area after such cutting? Now basically total surface area is one parameter that you need to understand, right? What is total surface area? I'm not going to get into too much of details here. You can refer to our videos to understand the basics here. But the total surface area for a cube is measured as 6 times the side square, right? Let's say the side of a cube is S. So what is the total surface area? Total surface area is going to be 6 into S square. See, understand, a cube has got, I mean, if you have to, get the reasoning behind this formula, what is it? Each cube has got 6 surfaces and each surface is like a square. What is the area of a square? Area of a square is side square. So S square is through that. And because there are 6 sides or 6 surfaces, we multiply it by 6 to get the total surface area, right? Each surface's area is S square, total surface area will be 6S square, right? So this is what we need to know for you to be able to solve this one. I mean, if you do not know what a cube is or what is the total surface area, don't even try this question. Just skip and move to the next one. Now, what has happened here? There is a cube type C where the volume is 512, right? So let me explain you the solution for this one. Now, let's say there is a larger cube and a smaller cube. So volume of the larger cube is given as 512, right? 512 centimeter cube. Now, this larger cube has been cut into 2 centimeter cubes. First of all, if the volume is, what is the volume of a cube, by the way? Volume of a cube is side cube. Right, this is another formula that we need to know, right? Volume of cube is side cube. So if I have to find out the side of the larger cube, what will it be? See, this is like 8 cube, 512 is 8 cube, right? So I can say that the side of the larger cube is equal to 8. 512 is 8 cube, so side of the larger cube comes out to be 8. Now the side of the smaller cube is to be 2 centimeter, right? Side of the smaller cube, let's say SS, is supposed to be 2 centimeter, right? It is supposed to be 2 centimeter. So how do you solve this now? How do you solve this now? We know the volume of the we know the volume of the larger one from which we have got the side. We have also got the side of the smaller one. Let us find out the total surface area for the smaller one first of all, right? Now if the side of the smaller cube is S, what will be the total surface area? What will be the total surface area? Total surface area of the smaller cube. See, total surface area is how much? 6 times s square. So 6 into 2 square, right? 6 into 2 square. 2 square 4, 6 4s is 24. So the total surface area of the smaller cube is 24. What will be the total surface area of the larger cube? Total surface area of the larger cube is going to be what? See, total surface area is 6 times s square. So 6 into s square. What is s here? Side is 8 square. 6 into 8 square, right? Whatever that calculation comes out. I mean, 8 square is 64. So 6 into 64. How much is 6 times 64? 6 times 60 is 360. 6 times 4 is 24. So 360 plus 24 is 384. I mean, this is what I was referring to, right? When I said you should be able to do calculations mentally, you should not put pen on paper for finding out 6 into 8 square. 8 square is 64. 64 times 6 comes out to be 384. So we have got the total surface area of the larger cube. We have got the total surface area of each of the smaller cubes. See, there are multiple smaller cubes. From one large cube, you will get multiple small cubes. So for each cube, the area is total surface is 24. But how many such cubes will be there? The number of smaller cubes. See, the number of smaller cubes will be equal to what? What will be the number of smaller cubes? 512 is the volume of each, larger cube. What will be the volume of the smaller cube? Volume of the smaller cube is going to be 2 cube. Right? Side into side into side, which is 8. 512 by 8. This comes out to be 64. Which means we are going to get 64 cubes. 64 cubes of side 2 centimeter by cutting a larger cube of side 8 centimeter. Now to find out the total volume or total surface area of all the cubes together, you should multiply these two values. You getting it? Overall total surface area of the smaller cubes. Right? What will it be? See, we have got 64 cubes and each cube is of 24 centimeter square total surface area. So this is the total volume, total surface area, right? Overall total surface area. So now the two values that you need to focus on is this. The larger cube has got a total surface area of 384. All the smaller cubes put together have got a total surface area of 64 into 24. He's asking us to get the percentage increase. How do you find out percentage increase? Final value minus initial value by initial value into 100, right? Percentage increase is nothing but the difference in the two values divided by the base value multiplied by 100. So that comes out to be what? 64 times 24 minus 384. I think this 384 also, let's take it as, how do we get this 384? 6 into 8 square, right? So 64 times 6. I'm taking it as 64 times 6. You understand? There's no point in doing this calculation 384. Let's take it as 8 square is 64, 64 into 6. Divided by 64 into 6. 64 times 6 multiplied by 100. You're getting it? The total surface area of all the smaller cubes, 64 times 24 as calculated here. Total surface area of the larger cube is 64 into 8, 6 into 8 square, which comes out to be 64 into 6. So, this is how the formula works, right? Final value minus initial value by initial value, right? The initial value is 64 into 6. Initial value is nothing but the larger cube. Now 64 is common. See, again, this is smart. I mean, if you start multiplying 64 with 24 and then take the difference and all that, you will end up wasting a lot of your time. You should be smart enough to take common values, right? So that you can avoid your calculation. Lengthy calculation. So 64 gets cancelled. We are left with what? 24 minus 6 by 6 into 100. 24 minus 6 is 18. 18 by 6 is 3. 3 into 100 is 300%. So your answer to this question would be option 5, none of this, 300%, right? Absolutely correct. All those who have got 300% are right. The change in the total surface area, the increase in the total surface area, percentage increase in the total surface area by doing this exercise is going to be 300%. I know this looks a little clumsy. If you see the number of steps involved and there's a lot of calculation, right? But then if you ask me, this is not the best of the ways to solve the question. While the answer is correct, no doubt, 300% is the right answer. Option 5 is the correct answer. But if you are doing this, then you have not really followed the smart method of getting the answer, right? In my view, you can solve this question without putting pen on paper. All this is not needed. All this is not needed. All you have to know is the very basics of what happens when you're cutting a larger cube into a smaller cube, right? So let me now explain you the smart method of getting the answer, right? How do you solve this question in a smart way? Simple. I don't even need this much of space, but for the sake of explanation, I'll have to put it up. Understand, a cube has got how many surfaces? A cube has got 6 surfaces. See, surface area is because of total surface area is because of the number of surfaces, right? As the number of surfaces increase, the total surface area will also increase. So in general, a cube has got 6 surfaces, right? There are 6 surfaces. Now the larger cube, the larger cube had got 6 surfaces. What you need to understand here is how many cuts have been made to get these 64 smaller cubes. How many smaller cubes did we get? We got 64 smaller cubes. to get these 64 smaller cubes, how many cuts did you make, right? So there's a little bit of diagram that I may have to draw for you to explain this, but understand, we have got a cube like this. I mean, I'm trying to draw a 3D view of this. All this drama is not needed in the exam. I'm doing this for the sake of explanation, right? Don't draw this diagram in the exam. You won't be awarded extra marks for this. Yeah, this is how a cube looks like. Now, the side is 8 centimeter. This side is 8 centimeter. Each side is 8 centimeter. The larger cube, right? Each side is 8. You want cubes of side 2 centimeter. You want cubes of side 2 centimeter. So basically, this 8 will be divided as 2, 2, 2, and 2, right? 2, 2, 2, and 2. But to get each 2, how many cuts would be made? 3 cuts. I mean, to get all these 2s, we'll make 3 cuts. Cut number 1, cut number 2, and cut number 3. Understand? 3 cuts would give you 4 sections. You're getting it? Whenever you make 1 cut, you will get 2 pieces. The second cut will get you 2 more pieces. The third cut will get you 2 more. So altogether, you'll get 4 pieces. 3 cuts will result in 4 pieces. You understand? While 8 by 2 gives you 4, don't take as 4 cuts. Number of cuts would be 3. That's very important, right? Side is 8, larger side is 8, smaller side is 2. 8 by 2 is equal to 4. You're making 4 parts, but to make 4 parts, you need only 3 cuts. Likewise, so this is the cut made in terms of length. But let's say in terms of breadth, what happens? Again, the same argument. The side is 8, but this 8 has to be split into 4 segments of 2 each. So how many cuts will be made? 3 cuts will be made. Right? Then again, horizontally, this side is 8. This total is 8. This has to be cut into 4 segments of 2 each. So how many cuts? 3 cuts. So altogether, how many cuts are you making? 9 cuts. 3 cuts on each side. So total number of cuts would be 9. I mean, this involves a little bit of visualization, right? I mean, putting it up on a graph or putting it up on a paper would be a little difficult, but try and visualize what is happening here. You are making 3 cuts on each surface to get the required segments. And there are 3 dimensions. Basically, there are 3 dimensions, right? This is a 3D figure. So on each dimension, you need to do 3 cuts. On each dimension, you'll have to do 3 cuts. Total how many dimensions? 3 dimensions. So 3 times 3, 9 cuts. So number of cuts is equal to 9. Number of cuts is equal to 9. Now, here comes the interesting part. You got to understand that with each cut, you get 2 more surfaces. With each cut, you get 2 more surfaces. Let me come to the video for explaining this. I know you might be wondering that this is taking so long, but understand, I'm not solving it, I'm explaining it to you. So it would take a little longer, but once you've understood this, it would become really very easy for you to crack this one. So you've got a cube, right? How many surfaces has it got? 6 surfaces, right? Total 6 surfaces, 4 lateral surfaces, then there is a base and the top. Now when you make 1 cut in any dimension, anywhere, right? Forget about what does it need exactly and all that. But when you make 1 cut, it results in 2 more surfaces, right? You open it up, so you get 1 surface inside this part and other surface inside this part. You're getting it? Like let's say this is not really a cube, it's like a cuboid, right? It's like a cuboid. So when I total 6 surfaces, when I make 1 cut, you'll get 2 more surfaces. When I make the second cut, I'll get 2 more surfaces. And I make the third cut, I'll get 2 more surfaces. So each cut is resulting in 2 surfaces, right? Each cut would result in 2 surfaces. How many cuts have we made here? 9 cuts. 9 cuts would result in how many surfaces? 18 additional surfaces. 9 times 2, 18 more surfaces would come into picture. Initially, I had only 6 surfaces with me, but after doing this exercise, I'll get 18 more surfaces. 6 plus 18, 24 surfaces. So whatever, the initial total surface area was because of 6 surfaces. Now the final total surface area will be with 24 surfaces. And the area of each surface remains the same, right? I mean, we are not going to dismantle that whole cube into smaller cubes. Let it be like this in the same thing with number of cuts, right? All the 64 cubes put together to make that one large cube. The point is, if I open it up, I'm going to get 18 more surfaces. So what was 6 initially has become 24. It has grown how many times? 4 times. But actual increment is how much? 18. 18 on what? 18 surfaces, 18 new surfaces on 6 initial surfaces. 18 by 6 is what? 3, which means you have increased the total surface area 3 times, and that is 300%. I hope you have understood the concept. I mean, this needs a little bit of visualization. I mean, putting it up on the screen is gonna be difficult. I've tried whatever best I could do in that limited space, but understand that each cut, you got to visualize it, because if the similar question is asked next time in the exam, you should be like 8 seconds to arrive at the answer. As simple as that. Because you know, when a smart student does it, he knows that, okay, 8 centimeter cube has to be made into 2 centimeter cubes. I need 3 cuts because there are total 4 segments. I need 3 cuts, right? So 3 cuts on 3 dimensions each. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 cuts means 18 more surfaces. 18 more surfaces. 18 more surfaces meaning what? Initially there were 6, now there are 18 more. So increment is 300%. I hope all of you have followed this. Somebody says this can come in mains but not in prelims. Mains or prelims, the concept has to be clear. Okay, we have questions here. Let me address those questions now. So somebody here says that but initial surfaces were of smaller area than the formed surfaces. No, that's what I've told you, right? Let the cube be intact. We are just making the cuts. 3 cuts lengthwise, 3 cuts breadthwise, and 3 cuts the height-wise. Right? You don't have to dismantle everything and then make small. That's what we have done in the regular process, right? What did you do in the regular? I mean, in the conventional method, each cube is of 2 centimeter side. Total surface area would be, you know, 4 times 6, 24, and then you have calculated. That's what made it lengthy. But if you just go by number of cuts, it would take hardly any time for you to arrive at the answer. Let me change. No. I mean, I hope all of you have followed. Yeah. Remember, it won't be 4 cuts. It will be 3 cuts. 4 parts, so only 3 cuts are needed. This is the very basics, right? I mean, like for example, let's say I have a 1 meter piece of cloth. I want this to be into 2 halves. I want this cloth to be into 2 halves, half meter and half meter. So do we need 2 cuts or 1 cut? There's only 1 cut that's needed, right? This is like very basics. If I need, let's say there is a 3 meter cloth, we want 3 pieces of 1 meter each. There's a 3 meter cloth. We need 3 pieces of 1 meter each. Now instant response would be 3 cuts, but it's not 3. It's only 2. You make the first cut after 1 meter. Then you make the second cut after second meter. You get 3 pieces, right? So don't go wrong. If you go wrong in the number of cuts, then your answer will be wrong there. So the basic idea is this: if I want 17 pieces, I need only 16 cuts. If I want 47 pieces, I need only 46 cuts, right? If I want 784 pieces, then I need 783 cuts. You're getting it? So that's how you go for it. Clear? Got it, all of you? We have a question here. Can we use this technique for any dimension? Yes. You can use it for, I mean, I'm assuming by dimension you mean any size. Yeah, you can use it for any size. Let us take a different number, right? Let's say the size is, how much is the size? Let's say there is a cube of volume 125 centimeter cube. The volume is 125 centimeter cube. Right, and you want smaller cubes of side 5 centimeter. What would you do? Okay, you want smaller cubes of side 1 centimeter, not 5 centimeter. So 125 is the volume. 125 is the volume, meaning what? The side is 5, because 5 into 5 into 5 will give you 125, right? So 125 is the volume of the cube. The side is 5 centimeters, right? You want smaller cubes of side 1 centimeter each. So 5 centimeter has to be split into 5 pieces of 1 centimeter each, which means there are 4 cuts. So 4 into 4 into 4. Right, 4 into 4 into 4. 4 cuts lengthwise, 4 cuts breadthwise, 4 cuts heightwise. So 4 into 4 into 4 would make it 64 cuts. Sorry, total how many cuts? I mean, we'll get whatever number of pieces. 4 plus 4 plus 4. 4 cuts, 4 cuts, and 4 cuts. Total how many cuts? 12 cuts. 12 cuts means 24 new surfaces. 24 new surfaces. Right? Based on that, calculate. 24 by whatever number. 24 on 6. Initially there was always the initial number of surfaces are 6. Now 24 new surfaces have come into picture, which means the increment is 24 by 6, 400%. All right. So that's about it. I think let's not spend any more time here. I hope all of you followed. If you haven't followed it, don't worry. This video will be made available for you as an archive. You can refer to that again and get the clarity. Okay. So let me present to the next one. Anyway, before we just jump to the next one, the idea is that 9 cuts would mean 12 surfaces. Sorry, 9 into 2, 18 surfaces. 9 into 2, 18 new surfaces. Right? He's asking us to find out the percentage change. What is percentage change? Final minus initial, which is nothing but the difference. The difference is 18, right? Final minus initial. 18 upon 6 into 100. 18 by 6 into 100 is 300%. Okay. So option 5, none of this is the answer. You can compare the two solutions and figure out which one works for you. Let me jump to the next one now. Here we go. The next question on your screens. It says a solid metal cylinder of type D is melted and recast into 2 cones in the proportion 4:5 in terms of volume. Keeping the height same as 14 centimeter. What would be the percentage change in the flat surface area before and after? So this again is on percentage change. He's asking us to find out the percentage change in the flat surface area. Be careful, flat surface area he says. Here the type of objects involved are cylinder and cones. So you need to know what is a flat surface, right? Flat surface is where there is no curvature, right? So we have to find out the percentage change in the flat surface before and after. So some transformation has happened here. A cylinder of type D is converted to 2 cones in the proportion of 4:5, keeping the height as 14 centimeter. Keeping the height as 14 centimeter. So I'll leave you with this again for at least 1 minute. Time starts now. Trust all of you have followed the previous one. If not, don't panic. You can refer to the videos again once this is archived. Look at the next question. सागर सिंह says अब ये फ्लैट सरफेस क्या है, टोटल सरफेस या हॉलो सरफेस? सागर फ्लैट सरफेस, गो बाय द टर्म फ्लैट ना. फ्लैट का मतलब क्या होता है? फ्लैट इज without any curvature, right? So if you look at a cylinder, it has got 3 surfaces. The base is a circle, the top is a circle, and then there's a lateral surface area. So here we are referring to the base and the top. The base and the top are flat surfaces. The lateral surface or the curved surface is not a flat surface. Yeah? Okay, anybody who's got the answer to this one? 30%, 50%, 20%, 75%, and 10% are the options. Quick. %, right? Anurag and Akash have got 30%. Arun Prakash, on the other hand, says it should be 10. Gomati has got 50, right? So 10, 30, 50. This is like some auction that's going on, and you guys are increasing your bids. 50%. Chandra Neeraj has also got 50. Bhavya, Ashish, they've got 30. I think most of you have got 30%, but others are stuck. See, if you have not got the answer or if you are unable to solve, please do mention that in the chat, so that we can gauge how many of you are getting stuck in these questions. Vishnu Prasad has got 20%. So you have covered option 1, option 2, option 3 and option 5. 30, 50, 20 and 10. Only 75% is left out. Somebody mark that so that we are covering everything possible there. Deepthi says this looks to be very tricky. Yeah, only looks to be tricky, Deepthi. When we solve it, you will find out that this was an easy one. A lot of you have mentioned that you have struck. In fact, most of you are struck. Sagar Singh, Pooja Shri, Vaishnavi, Revati, Preetam, Alpa, Sharnu, Manas, Athira, Bhanu says not able to do, Namrata, Sid Shaw says it should be 75%. And I'm sure he has not got it. He's just mentioned that so that we can cover everything. Yeah? Should we take this up? What would be the percentage change in the flat area before and after? What is the percentage change in the flat area before and after? Okay, I think we have spent enough time. Let us move a little faster now. I may not discuss the basics involved here. I'm sure all of you would know the basic formula and the basic concepts there. Let us discuss the smart methods to solve the questions, right? So here we go. The question says a solid metal cylinder of type D. Solid metal cylinder of type D. Now let me first focus on that. Type D cylinder. Type D cylinder is 891. Yeah. So solid metal cylinder of type D, which is like of volume 891, is melt and recast into 2 cones. So basically there's one cylinder which has been cast into 2 cones in the proportion 4:5. In the proportion 4:5, which is the volume. Keeping the height same as 14 centimeter. Keeping the height same as 14 centimeter. What would be the percentage change in the flat surface area before and after? So if you have to kind of envisage this is how it is, right? There's a cylinder. Don't comment on my drawing here. I won't be awarded marks for that anyway, and so would others be in the exam, right? So basically there's one cylinder of type D, which is the volume is 891, right? The volume is 891. This has been converted to 2 cones. It has been melted and cast into 2 cones of proportion 4:5. So volume ratio here is 4:5 between the 2 cones, right? Keeping the height same. The height is same 14 centimeter, right? Here the height is 14, and for the cones also the height is 14 for both the cones. The height is same, right? 14 is the height. There's no change in the height here. Now, what would be the percentage in the flat area before and after? See, understand the flat area before was this. There were two circles, right? Here there's a flat area and on top there's a flat area. And after that also there are two circles, but yeah, two different circles. Earlier the two circles were the same. Now there are two different circles because their volumes are different. Yeah. So basically one cylinder has been converted to two cones. And the volume of these two cones are in the ratio of 4:5. Yeah. Now, if you actually ask me, we don't even need to worry about this volume at all. This 891 in my view is not needed at all. Even if this 891 is not given, you will be able to solve the question. So I'm sure some of you would have tried using 891, breaking 891 into 4:5 and all that, but that drama is not needed. Yeah, without using the volume, we can solve this question. So let me explain that smart method to you directly. See, what does it say? This is the volume of the cylinder. Volume of the cylinder, right? This is volume of cone 1. This is volume of cone 2. Now, volume of cone 1 and cone 2 are in what ratio? 4:5, which means 4x and 5x. Now, you all know the basic law here, right? Whenever you convert one solid to other solid, the dimensions and the shape and the look and feel may change. What remains constant? The volume is constant. Volume is always constant. Yes or no? So whatever is the initial volume, the final volume would remain the same. This is very, very basic, and this is in fact model number 5 of mensuration. If you go through the TalentSprint videos, you would know that this is model number 5, where we have discussed about questions where volume is constant. So this is one example where the volume remains a constant, right? Volume remains constant. Now, if the volume of cone 1 is 4x, constant meaning what? The total initial volume will be equal to the total final volume. So what is the total final volume? Total final volume is 4x plus 5x. 4x plus 5x, which is equal to 9x. That should be the initial volume, 9x. Yes or no? Because if the total final volume is 9x, total initial volume also should be 9x, right? Now let me just clear this up to get some space for me to work on. I am assuming all of you have understood the diagram there. Diagram meaning how the shapes are changed. Okay, now let me just explain you. The volume of cylinder is to volume of cone 1 is to volume of cone 2. How much will it be? Will it not be 9:4:5? Simple. Because volume of cone 1 and cone 2, 4:5 is directly given to us. Volume of cylinder will be the total of these two. So 4 plus 5, 9. That's it. I don't have to worry about the absolute value. I can just play with this ratio here. Now find out what is the volume of a cylinder. See, we all have to work on the radius here. What is volume of a cylinder? Volume of a cylinder is pi r square h. So pi, let's say the radius is r1. Let me take r1, r2, r3, right? r1 square, h, height is h, is to, what is the volume of a cone? 1/3 pi r square. So r2 square, height is h. And then this is 1/3 pi r3 square h equals to 9:4:5. Now let me explain you something before we proceed. R1, R2 and R3 are the volumes respectively. Volume of cylinder, volume of cone, and volume of cone 1 and volume of cone 2, right? R1, R2, R3 in that order. Why did we not take different heights here? Because it clearly mentioned that the height is same. Don't substitute 14 and waste your time there. Height is same. Height of cylinder is same as the height of the two cones. So anyway, it gets cancelled. It is common. Now if you see in this ratio, pi and h are common everywhere. Pi and h is common. That gets eliminated. So what are we left with? R1 square is to 1/3 R2 square is to 1/3 R3 square equals to 9:4:5. And if you work smartly, you should not even put pi and h on paper. You should be able to visualize that pi and h is going to be common because height is same and pi is a constant. So forget about pi and h. Directly you should write that R1 square is to R2 square by 3 is to R3 square by 3 equals to 9:4:5. What I can do is I can multiply the second and the third terms by 3 on both the sides so that we get, we can eliminate this 3 here. So I'm multiplying the second term and the third term by 3 on both the sides. So when you multiply by 3, this 3 and 3 gets cancelled. Here it becomes 4 into 3. You understand? 4 into 3, 12, and this is 5 into 3, 15. So basically, what are we saying? R1 square is to R2 squared is to R3 squared equals to 9:12:15. 9:12:15, and which can be further reduced to 3:4:5. 3:4:5. 3:4:5. Right? 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5. 3:4:5. Okay? R1 square, R2 square, and R3 square. You have understood? We have got R2 square by 3 and R3 square by 3. So we are eliminating this 3. So multiplying second and third terms by 3. So if you multiply this side by 3, multiply the other side also by 3. So 4 into 3 gives you 12, 5 into 3 gives you 15. So 9, 12, 15, which makes it 3:4:5. So what do we know now? We know now the ratio of the squares of the radii. The ratio of the squares of the radii. What is he asking us to find out? What will be the percentage change in the flat surface area before and after? Now again, I'm not getting into the basics. You should know that the flat surface area for cylinder. What is the flat surface area for a cylinder? Flat surface area for cylinder will be what? 2 pi r square. See, there are two circles, right? Each circle is pi r square. So 2 circles will make it 2 pi r square. And for cone is how much? For cone again there is only one circle, so pi r square. Pi r square. So for a cylinder it is 2 pi r square. For a cone it is pi r square. He is asking us to find out the percentage change. Now, what is the initial flat surface area? Flat surface area initially. There's only one cylinder, right? So it will be 2 pi r square. See, understand, r square is 3. R square is 3. This is 3 for cylinder. 2 into 3, 6. 2 into 3, 6. I can say 6 pi. You're getting it? 2 r square into pi. So r square is 3. 2 pi into 3. 2 pi into 3 makes it 6 pi. What is the flat surface area finally? What will be the final flat surface area? See, pi r square. But there are two cones. First cone, the r square is 4. Second cone, the r square is 5. So we will get pi 4 plus pi 5. You understand? Pi into r square 4. Pi into r square 5. So pi 4 plus pi 5, which is 4 pi plus 5 pi, 9 pi. So initial value was 6 pi. Final value is 9 pi. He's asking us to find out the percentage change. 6 is, forget about pi again. Pi is constant, in fact. Smart people should not put pi on paper. That's a waste of time, right? Waste of your time. Initial value was 6. 6 into some constant. Final value is 9 into the same constant. How much is the increase? 3 is the increase. On what base value? On base value of 6. So 3 upon 6 is how much? Half. Half is 50%. So your answer should be option 2. You're getting it? He's asking us to get the percentage change. Percentage change will be final minus initial by initial into 100. So that's like 9 minus 6 by 6 into 100. So 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 by 6 is half. Half of 100 is 50. So your answer will be 50%. Please do not go by the length of the solution and the time that we have spent here. Let me highlight all that should not be put on paper. All this that we are writing on paper is a waste of time. Don't write these steps in the exam, right? All that I'm highlighting in red is not required in the exam. Like you should not be putting a pi, h and all that. You're just killing your time, right? I mean, writing this pi and h everywhere and then cancelling it itself would take 3 seconds, 4 seconds. And that 3-4 seconds is a waste of time, right? Right? Don't even put this formula, percentage change equals to final minus initial by initial into 100. This is not needed. Everything that you see in red here is a waste of time. You can do this mentally, right? These are formulae again. Do you have to write it on paper? No, save your time. Don't write this step 9 is to 12 is to 15. You should directly be able to evaluate it as 3 is to 4 is to 5. And this also in my view is not needed. You should know that this is 3 times 2, 6 and 4 plus 5, 9. 6 becomes 9, which means 50% increase. So even this last step is not needed. Now you might ask me that why did I put it on paper? I have put it on paper so that I can explain to you easily. But when you do it yourself, cut down the number of steps that you write. Okay, so try to keep it smart, cut down the number of steps, and I'm sure you'll be able to arrive at the answer much faster. Okay, option 2, 50% is the final answer. All that you see in red is actually red alert. You should not be writing any of those steps on paper. Did you all get this? Yeah, I hope all of you have got it. I have a question here from Sharanu. Is it possible to solve this question in 1 minute? Definitely yes. See, don't go with the amount of time that we have spent on explanation, right? I'm not solving, I'm explaining it to you. Practice is the key. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Isha has not followed. I'm sure there will be a few others who did not follow it. Don't worry. I mean, I can repeat it for you. I would love to repeat the solution, but that's not the best use of our limited time that we have here, right? So let me jump to the next question. All of you can watch the recorded archives of these videos, right? We'll make it available for each one of you. Let me now present the next question to you all. The correct answer here, like I've said, is 50%, option 2. Next question on your screens now. Here's the next one. Type B cone was molded and made into a type C cylinder. If the radius 6 cm is decreased by 16 2/3% while molding, then find the total surface area of type C cylinder. You have 1 minute for this. Your clock starts now. Well, you can see that average time which people have spent here is 10 seconds, but the accuracy is really low. Only 21% of people have got it right. You anyway have 36 seconds in the exam. For quant, you have the luxury of spending a few more seconds, because reasoning and English language will not take 36 seconds per question on an average. So overall, I think if you can crack these questions in 45 seconds to 60 seconds, you should be doing good in the exam. Okay, so let's see how many of you get it right. Shubham Joshi says, what about number series? Shubham, don't worry, I'll also pick up some questions on number series, and the idea is to give you the best way to solve number series questions as well. Sagar Singh says 10 seconds में तो skip ही होगा. I think that is right. I mean 10 seconds में क्या ही कर पाएंगे? By the time you read the question and understand it, it would take 10 seconds. So I think काफी लोगों ने इसे skip किया होगा एग्जाम में. I mean आंसर ही नहीं किया इसे. अंगूर खट्टे हैं टाइप्स, राइट? कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. Anyway, all of you try it out. 92. Vishnu has got 92, which is option 3, waiting for others to respond. Only one answer so far. Tapasvi says definitely skip. I'm glad that at least you guys are skipping it now, right? Vishnu has got 92, option 3. Yeah. Anurag has got 84. Anurag has got 84, which is option 2. Yeah, Gomati has got option 3, 92. So I think most of you have got 92 as the answer, option 3. Satish has got 93. Rajesh, on the other hand, has got 84. Tough question, huh? Jits has got 84. Vinay has skipped it. Sagar says, I would skip it. Chandra Prakash has got 90, which is option 5. Option 5, yeah. Okay, 5 more seconds and then we'll take it up. 84 is the most common response that I see here. Jai Krishna, Chandra Neeraj, Jits, all these guys have got 84. On the other hand, we have many students who got 92, which is option 3. So I think we are fighting between 2 and 3, option 2 or option 3. Rahul says it's not so tough. Yeah, Rahul, I'm glad that you have got it. But your fellow friends, I mean, all your fellow students are finding it to be tough. Look at the number of people who have skipped it. DFG से सर आप ही सॉल्व कर दो. भाई मैं तो करूँगा ही, डोंट वरी, बट मेरे करने से कुछ नहीं होगा ना. इफ यू गेट इट योरसेल्फ इट विल बी ग्रेट. एंड वी हैव अ डिफरेंट आंसर नाउ. विष्णु सेज 134. Chalo, time is up. Janani has got 168. So you have covered all the options then. 92, 84, 134, 168, and all those who are skipped, I would say they have marked the answer as none of this. So I think all the options have been covered. It's time now for us to decide which is the right one. Here we go. Type B cone was molded and made into a type C cylinder. If radius 6 cm is decreased by 16 2/3% while molding, then find the total surface area of type C cylinder. So basically a cone is being molded and made into a cylinder. What's the conversion? Cone to cylinder. Like earlier we had seen cylinder being converted to 2 cones. Now one cone is being transformed to 1 cylinder. Now type B cone, look at the value. Type B cone. Where is cone? Cone is this red graph. Okay. So type B cone, the value is not given. But let's find out. I think if you observe closely, this is one segment above 650. So our initial discussion, right? We have discussed how to get this value. So it is exactly on 660 in my view. I mean, if I draw a horizontal line here and try to meet the y-axis, I'll hit at what point? 650 plus 10, 660. So basically type B cone, the volume is 660. Now this was made into a type C cylinder. Type C cylinder, do we have the value? Type C cylinder is this. Type C cylinder, huh? Type C cylinder is this line, yeah? How much is this? Same 660, yeah? Of course, the volume would remain the same, by the way. We don't even have to check. It is foolish to check what will be the volume of this because you know that volume remains constant, right? We discussed it a few seconds ago. Volume is constant. Any transformation you do, volume is constant. And the graph proves it. 660 here, the same 660. You see this red line and this blue line are on the same line, right, on the same horizontal line. So 660 is the volume there. Now the radius 6 centimeter is decreased by 16 2/3% while molding. So cone's radius, the radius of the cone was 6 centimeter. It has been reduced by 16 2/3%. Now you have to be good at this calculation. 16 2/3% is like 16.66%. Right, this is 16.66%, which is equal to 1/6 of the value, right? You should be very good at converting percentages to fractions. You should know what percentage is what fraction if it is in the standard list of values that we have. And 16.6 is the standard value, 1/6. So basically, the radius has been decreased by 1/6 when you are doing this conversion. So what will be the radius of the cylinder? Radius of the cylinder will be 6 minus. Why are we taking minus? Because it has been decreased. Decreased by how much? 1/6. 1/6 of the initial radius. It is equal to 5. So what was 6 initially has become 5 now in terms of radius. Don't write this step in the exam. You should know that 6 being reduced by 1/6 will result in 5. This is a waste of time. If you're putting this step in the on paper, then you're wasting your time. This is a mental calculation. So far you have put nothing on paper. You have understood that 6 has become 5. Now find the total surface area of type C cylinder. Find the total surface area of type C cylinder. First of all, type C cylinder, volume of cylinder. What is volume of cylinder? Pi r square h, right? Pi r square h. Now this pi r square h equals to 660. We have already calculated this. Substitute the values now. So pi is 22/7. R has been calculated as 5. So 5 square will make it 25 into h. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to find out the height first. See, we want the total surface area of type C cylinder. You know that total surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r into r plus h. You should know all these basics, right? Total surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r into r plus h. Now for us to find out the total surface area, I should know the radius and the height. Radius we have already calculated, radius of cylinder 5. Now we are trying to calculate the height based on the other values given there. So do the calculation. This goes, I think, 30 times. So height will be how much? 30 into 7/25, right? Height is going to be 30 into 7/25. Simplify this. This is 5 times and 6 times. So 6 7 is 42. 42 by 5. 42 by 5 will be 8.4. So we can conclude that the height of this cylinder is going to be 8.4, right? 6 into 7, 42 upon 5, or 1.2 into 7, 8.4. So 8.4 centimeter. You know the radius and you know the height. Now what do you have to find out? Total surface area. Total surface area of cylinder is equal to, you have to remember the formula, right? 2 pi r into r plus h. Substitute. So 2 into pi. I think answers are all given in terms of pi. So let's not substitute 22/7. Let's take it as pi itself. 2 pi into r is 5 and r plus h. 5 plus 8.4. Right? So 5 plus 8.4 is 13.4. 2 into 5 is 10. 10 into 13.4 is 134. 134 pi. 134 pi centimeter square. Right? It is total surface area. So total surface area of the cylinder formula is 2 pi r into r plus h. Remember, total surface area. Total surface area would mean what? The base plus the top plus the lateral surface. So 2 pi r into r plus h. Very simple. R comes out to be 5 because radius of 6 has been reduced by 16.66%, and the height comes out to be 8.4 by substituting the other values in the volume. So 134 pi, option 1 is the correct answer, and disappointing to find that most of you got it wrong. I think most of you marked 84 or 92, which are all wrong, and 160 also is wrong. Correct answer is 134 pi centimeter square. In my view, this was the easiest of all the questions that we have solved so far. I mean, others were like a little tricky, right? This was straight, but even then most of you flunked. I mean, now I can see a lot of you getting the answers, many of you getting the answers as 134, right? Sushant and DFG. Apurva says it was doable. Yes, of course, it was doable. Yeah. This was simple. Parita Sharma says this is simple. It was. Sagar, Ashish says TSA formula I forgot. Mensuration is all based on formula. If you cannot remember the formula, somebody has asked me, how do you get 25? Baba, radius is 5. Radius is 5. R square will be 5 into 5, 25. Should we go for the next one? I'm sure there won't be any queries here. This was the easiest of the lot that we have solved so far. Let me present the next question to you all now. Here we go. Next question on your screens. Now this is on cuboid. See what it says? If the length, breadth and height of a type A cuboid are increased by 5, 10 and 20% respectively, find the increased volume of type A cuboid. Good. This is an interesting one. He's given us the change in the length, in the breadth and the height of a type A cuboid. 5, 10 and 20 respectively. Right? All these three dimensions have increased. So find the increased volume of cuboid. And I'm sure you can solve this question in about 45 seconds, not more than that. 45 seconds is more than enough for you to get the answer. This time I would want more and more responses. You should not be skipping this question. Easy one to solve. Take as much time as you want. I mean, as much meaning maybe a couple of minutes, let's say. But let me tell you that if you play smart, you can get the answer in like 45 seconds on the higher side. Manoj Kumar says 16.6. I'm referring to those comments which are for the previous question, right? Manoj says, how did you convert 16.66 to 1/6? Manoj, for that you need to understand the basics of percentages, right? I mean, if you look at the TalentSprint's video on the concept of percentages, we have discussed all this. How to convert percentages to fractions, a list of standard percentages into fractions. So you should go through that video. I think some of you are struggling with the initial volume, so I'll help you out. So type A cuboid, right? Cuboid is this purple line. So type A cuboid is this, type A and cuboid. What is this value here? I think 720 plus, it is, sorry, 700 plus, it is 2 segments above that. So 720 is the value. Let me help you out with that. I mean, I can zoom in and show it to you if you want. You see? What do we do here? Look at this. Let me clear everything on the screen first. Because you should be able to do it yourself. I mean, you should be able to analyze this next time. Look at this. 700 is this base. This is type A cuboid, right? So 700 plus 10 plus 10, 720, right? So that value is 720. Okay. Anyway, let me give you the value. 720 is the value. Now find out the answer. Let's see now how many of you get it. 720 for type A cuboid. Okay, answers have started coming in. 997.92. Hemant, Balaji, Jits, Sairam. Sairam has got 277.92. Option 5. Vidya has got 997.92, which is option 4. Good. Prince Kumar has got 993.6. Is that there in the options? Yes, option 3. But most of you, I guess, have got option 4. Krishna Chaitanya has got option 4. Krishna Chaitanya, please hold your emotions. I can see that you have marked the answer as option 4. Don't spam the chat box. Simple one. Rahul says this is simple. Abdul has got 277. Banashri Paul has got 273.6. But yes, the common response, the most common response here is option 4, 997.92. So let's take this up now. Right? Let's take this up. Now here again, let me read the question first. It says if the length, breadth and height of type A cuboid we have already seen the volume is 720 centimeter cube, right? Now if the length, breadth and height, each of the dimensions of this type A cuboid are increased by 5%, 10% and 20% respectively, find the increased volume of the type A cuboid. So basically the dimensions have changed, right? Have been altered. Each of the dimensions have changed, increased. Length increased by 5%, the breadth increased by 10% and the height increased by 20%. He's asking us to find out the new volume. By the way, you all know that volume of a cuboid, or you must know that volume of a cuboid is length into breadth into height. Length into breadth into height. So the initial volume is 720. What would be the new volume? Now the first and foremost point to be understood is option 2 and option 5 can never be the answers. See, he's asking us to find out the increased volume. What do you mean by increased volume? The new volume. Increased volume means what? The new volume. If the initial volume itself is 720, how can the new volume become less than 720? It should be more than 720, right? Obviously, the answer has to be more than 720. Now, this is why I say options are very important. See, most of us, read the question and jump to the solution. Look at the options. Always throw a glance at the options and see if you can eliminate some of them. Like here, we have been able to eliminate 2. If I'm lucky and 2 more options get eliminated, let's say, by the same logic, that the answer should be more than 720, I don't have to do anything. I can directly mark the answer. Yes, in this particular case, we are stuck. All the remaining 3 options are more than 720. 986, 993, 997. All are more than 720. So we will have to do the calculation. But you should know that option 2 and option 5 are blunders. If you have marked any of these 2, then you are absolutely wrong. Right? It cannot be 2 or 5. Now, what exactly is the answer? Let us find out. But before that, we should know what is the change in the volume. See, I know that initial volume is 720. If I can find out what is the change in the volume, I have been given the change, percentage change in the sides. We know the percentage increments in the sides individually. But what is the percentage increase in the volume? If that can be evaluated, then you can solve the question very easily. I know the initial volume, I should know the percentage change in the volume. What will you use now? I am going to use this most important technique. If you ask me, the most important technique that at least I believe that we have in quantitative aptitude is the concept of effective percentage. Effective percentage, very, very important. Effective percentage is always measured as A plus B plus AB by 100%. A plus B plus AB by 100%. And this is one concept, of course, from the topic of percentages. We have discussed this in the, model, I think model 5 of the topic of percentages. I mean, if you look at the TalentSprint's videos, on the topic of percentage, this is model number 5, the question type 5, where we have discussed the concept of effective percentage and solve some examples based on that. This is one question which is based on this. And effective percentage has got a lot of applications. It is used in profit and loss, it is used in simple and compound interest, it is used in mensuration, it is used in time and work, time and distance, data interpretation and whatnot. The idea is if 2 percentage changes are given to you, A and B are 2 percentage changes, then the overall change which is affected by both A and B can be measured as A plus B plus AB by 100%. So when 2 changes are given, the formula to be used is A plus B plus AB by 100. Similarly, for 3 changes, we can derive a formula A plus B plus C plus AB by 100 plus BC by 100 and whatever that long and crap formula is. But we have explained in our TalentSprint videos that you don't have to remember any formula other than this effective percentage. Very, very important. Very, very important. Whether there are 2 percentages or 3 percentages or 7 percentages, you can use the same formula to find out the overall percentage. What do? Let us apply the percentage, effective percentage formula on these 2 values first. So one change is 10%, the other change is 20%. What is the overall change because of this? A plus B plus AB by 100. So 10 plus 20 plus 10 into 20 by 100. Comes out to be what? See, 10 plus 20 is 30 and this is 2. 30 plus 2, 32%. Which means the effect of 10% and 20% is going to be 32%. The other change that I have is 5%. So now the resultant of 10 and 20 is 32 and then there is one more percentage, 5. Apply effective percentage once again on these 2 values. So instead of using a new formula, you use the same formula A plus B plus AB by 100 twice. It's simple. A plus B plus AB by 100, use it twice. If it is increments, use positive values. If it is decrement, let's say instead of increase, if it is given decrease, use negative values. Instead of 10 and 20, substitute minus 10, minus 20. Anyway, let's not get into all those basics. Let us just solve this one, right? The concept is there in the videos, you can check that. So 32 and 5, apply the effective percentage formula. What do? A plus B plus AB by 100. 32 plus 5 plus 32 into 5 by 100. And I think this is where smartness lies, right? I mean, if you do 10 and 20 effective change on paper, then you are not fit for the exam. This should not be put on paper in my view. 10 and 20 will give you 32. You should be able to do it mentally. 32 and 5 also you should be able to do mentally. Anyway, 32 plus 5, 37. And this is what? 32 into 5 is 160. 160 by 100 is 1.6. 37 plus 1.6 is 38.6%. Yes. Which means the overall effect of these 3 percentages, 5, 10 and 20 is going to be 38.6%. Is going to be 38.6%. Which means the new volume, what will be the new volume? Don't write NEWVOLUME in the exam. You won't get extra marks for this, right? Directly play with numbers. The new volume is going to be what? See, the increment is 38.6%. Initial volume is 100%. Initial volume is 100%. Any base value is 100%. Increment is how much? 38.6%. So what's the total new value? 138.6%. 138.6% of what? The initial value. These are again smart ways of solving the question, right? I mean, don't do 720 plus 38.6% of 720. Directly you can say it is going to be 138.6% of 720. Now this calculation you need to do. 138.6% of 720 you have to calculate. But then don't panic. If you are smart, or if you use a smart method, like let's say units digit method, you don't have to do this calculation at all. Again, without putting pen on paper, you will know that the answer cannot be option 1 or option 3. How do I know that? Just focus on the unit spaces. See, forget about the 0 in the unit space. You understand? By basically what happens, if I have to let me write it here. 138, what are we doing? 138.6% of 720. What will it give you? 138.6 by 100 into 720. So this 0 and 0 gets cancelled and we get 138.6 into 7.2. Now forget about those decimals. Forget about those decimals. You know that one number ends in 6, the other number ends in 2. Wherever the decimal will come, we'll put it up. But one number ends in 6, the other number ends in 2. The result should end with what? 2. Units place method. We have discussed this in our video of simplifications, right? Units digit method. Units digit method, right? When one number ends in 6, the other number ends in 2, the answer has to end in 2, and that is it. First option ends in 4, cannot be the answer. Third option ends in 6, cannot be the answer. Fourth option ends in 2, and since this is the only option left out, I have no choice but to take it as the correct answer. So option 4, 997.92 is the final answer. 997.92 is the final answer. Do not waste your precious time in doing the exact calculation. If you are smart, if you use the smart techniques, like what I have explained to you here is the units digit method. Similarly, we have a root digit technique where you sum up the digits of the numbers and balance it out. Again, a very, very interesting concept from ancient Indian mathematics, Vedic mathematics, but that's not needed here. Unit space method is what works. Save your time. Now I'm glad that all of you have got 997.92. Good. Question to you all is, how many of you have done it in a smart way? Smart method using effective percentage and unit space method. I mean, if you have done the complete calculation for this question, I would still treat your answer as wrong. You've got it right, +1 for you. But what's the point in scoring 1 mark in 2 minutes when you can score the same 1 mark in 1 minute? Remember, I told you this question can be solved in about 45 seconds. On the higher side, 45 seconds. Because all I have to do is 2 effective percentage calculations, and then I'll apply unit space method. So the question to you is, how many of you have used the smart method? You have got it right. How many of you have used the smart method? So comment either smart or stupid. I mean, I'm very clear. If you have done the calculation completely, 138.6% of 720, if you have solved that, or if you have done 720 plus 38.6% of 720, then you have been stupid, right? I mean, let's face it. I would be stupid if I do that, right? But if you have done it unit space method, you are smart. So my question to you all is, comment smart or comment stupid. Let me see how many of you have used the smart method. Balaji has mentioned that he has used the smart method as what we have seen here. Smart both in terms of effective percentage and the calculation technique. Look at that. Uni says stupid and wrong. Yeah. Jyoti says stupid. Vidya said stupid. Sid Shaw says I am stupid. Let's not generalize that you're stupid. But yeah, here you have behaved stupid if you have done the calculation. Arev, Branda, Chinnaswamy, right? Shashank Naidu. Accept that. Because only when you know what is your weakness, you'll be able to learn. So get the point that you have behaved stupidly. Sairam says, okay, Sairam has got a confusion. Sairam says, and then some of you have mentioned that you have followed the smart method but got it wrong. Makes no sense. Yeah? Smart method and got it wrong. No use. Okay, somebody had asked me a question that increase in volume should be 38.6% of 720. Understand that one letter D changes the meaning. He did not ask us to find out the increase in volume. He asked us to find out the increased volume. You understand? I-N-C-R-E. How do you spell increase? I-N-C-R-E-A-S-E. Okay. I-N-C-R-E-A-S-E volume. Increase in volume is 38.6% of whatever value, 720. Increased volume is that new value, right? Increased ends with D. Then There's a final value. So that is the reason we have taken 136%, 138.6%, whatever that is. Should we go for the next one? Anu Malik says, I have used this effective percentage concept, but not the SMART method. Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of comments, not smart, stupid, and all that. Nikunj Agarwal says, sir, I and Sagar did 720 into 21 by 20 into 11 by 10 into whatever. You can do that also. That also will give you the answer. But do you want to deal with all that calculation? Why? It is correct. You have increased the individual values. I mean, I'm taking the overall increment in percentage, you have done the individual values. Should we go for the next one? So I think my intent or objective here is not to show you down, right? I mean, I want you all to realize that a lot of better methods are there to get the answers. Next question on your screens now. I think this should probably be the last one from this DI set. We'll then jump to the independent ones. Oh, and a big question, 6-7 lines here. See this, a right circular cone of type C is exactly fitted inside type A cube in such a way that the base of the cone and that of the cube is touching each other, where diameter of the base of the cone is equal to the side of the cube and the vertex of the cone is on the opposite face of the cube. Find the slant height of the cube. Find the slant height of the cube. Let me see if the values are available, otherwise I'll write down the values so that you don't struggle with the graph. So he's talking about, where's my pen? Yeah. So right circular cone of type C, type C cone, red line 385. Yeah, so that's 385. I mean, I'm helping you with the numerical values here. Is exactly fitted into a type A cube. Type A cube is this green thing, 343. So this is 343. So the volumes are there with you. Now you don't have to worry about the graph. Get me the answer. Your time starts now. Sid Shaw says, okay, if there are two options ending with 2, then you do the calculation. If there are two options ending with 2, then do the calculation. Don't go by this average time. I can see some of you pointing out the average time. Average time is 7 seconds, does not mean that everybody has got the answer in 7 seconds, right? You see, only 26% of the people have got it right. It will so happen, right? You will read the question and then you'll say, Baba, this to nahi ho payega, mujhse nahi, humse nahi ho payega ye. And you go to the next one. So if you have spent 10 seconds in reading it, whether you have solved it or not is different. Average time would mean time, this is the average of time taken by people who have answered it, people who have got it wrong, and people who have skipped it. Even while skipping, you end up spending 5-6 seconds, right? So that is the reason the average time is coming out to 7 seconds. Don't go by this. Apurva Rawat and Anil Kiran have already skipped it. DFG says I would skip it because look at the length of the question is what they say. Yeah, lengthy, but all that is lengthy need not be complex. Rahul says it takes 20 seconds to understand the question. Nobody has got me the answer so far, right? Everybody says skip. Okay, Preeti Deepak is the first one to respond. She's got option 3, half of square root of 3649. Menka says, is the whole class about mensuration or any other topic? No, we will take up other topics also. We have some questions from approximations and interesting ones from other areas, but you have to hold your breath for some time, right? I mean, we are in this data interpretation question based on mensuration. Dharani says, I am bad in mensuration, always I skip it. I don't understand how can one be bad in mensuration. This is a formula based topic, right? If you know the formula, you can try it. Otherwise, skip. Learn the formula. Diksha Kaushik has got half of square root of 349, which is not there in the options. Oh, half of square root of 349 is there, option 4. Sagar says, ye vertex kya hota hai? I forgot. Sagar, refresh your concepts. Go to the videos and watch. We have discussed all this in our videos, right? Complicated? Chalo, let us solve it now. I don't think many of you have got the answer. In fact, only I think a couple of you have marked the answer here, right? The most recent one is from Abhishek Chaubey, who's got option 3, and Partha Sharma, who's got 4. Rajesh has got 4. Samriddhi says, what is the slant height of a cube? Samriddhi, how one planet will a cube have a slant height? You know what a cube is? Cube is like a square dabba, right? Where will it have a slant height? Okay, let's solve this now. So the question says a right circular cone of type C is exactly fitted inside a type A cube in such a way. Okay, find the slant height of a cube. I think the question itself is slant height of a cube. Yeah, it does not agree. He actually means slant height of the cone here. I'm sorry about this. This should not be cube. Yeah, so Samriddhi, you're right. What do you mean by slant height of a cube? This is not cube, this is cone. Slant height of a cone. Find the slant height of the cone, right? Cube will not have the slant height. So basically it says a right circular cone of type C is exactly fitted inside a type A cube in such a way that the base of the cone and that of the cube is touching each other. The diameter of the base of the cone is equal to the side of the cube. And the vertex of the cone is on the opposite face of the cube. Find the slant height. So you got to understand the figure again, right? Let's say this is the cube. I mean, I'm giving you the front view of the diagram here, right? So in this, what happens is the cone would, let me draw the cone in a different color so that's easy to follow, right? The cone would be understand, this is the front view of the cone inside the cube. So there is a cube, there's a type A cube, we know the volumes already, in which we have put up a right circular cone. It has been put in such a way that you see the base, it says that the base of the cone and that of the cube are touching each other. So see, base of the cone is touching the base of the cube. And the vertex of the cone, what is this? This is the vertex of the cone, right? The top end of the cone is on the opposite face of the cube. So if this is the face, this is the base, the opposite face is this. So this is exactly fitting inside a cube here. Now find the slant height of the cube. So basically we need to find out the slant height. How much is this slant height is the question. Not cube. Apologies for that. It should be cone. Find the slant height of the cone. Okay. You understand? I mean, again, this is only the front view, but that's enough in my view. We can solve the question now. I hope you have understood. Now, if you understand, again, I think I need to draw the base. This is the front view. This is the front view. Let me also draw the bottom view of this. What happens is, if you look at the bottom, that base of the cone, right, this one, will exactly you know, overlap with the base of the cube. This is not looking like a circle, but please adjust, huh? Yeah, I think good only. My drawing skills have improved. So this is what happens. You see, it says the diameter of the base of the cone. The base of the cone's diameter, right, is equal to the side of the cube. This is the side of the cube, S. So diameter is equal to the side. Yeah. So this is basically the diagram. This is the bottom view. The front view and the bottom view. Now you need to merge these two and visualize the diagram there. Okay. Now, what all do you understand from this? I think due to lack of space, I will do the solution here on the graph. I will overlap with the graph, but simple one. We want to find out the slant height of the cube, slant height of the cone. Slant height of the cone. What is the slant height of the cone? Slant height of the cone is root over r square plus h square, where r is the radius and h is the height. R is the radius and h is the height. Understand, the diameter of the cone is equal to the side of the cube. What is the volume of the cube? Volume of the cube is 343. So volume of the cube is equal to s cube, which is equal to 343, which implies s, the side, is equal to 7, because 7 cube is 343. Now we have already understood that diameter of the cone is equal to s, which implies 2 times the radius is equal to 7. S is 7, so 2r is 7, implies r is equal to 7 by 2. So the radius of the cone, diameter is 7, so radius will be 7 by 2. What will be the height? Understand, height, radius we have already got. What is the height? Easy. Very clearly, the question tells us that the height of the cone, you see, it does not tell us that the height of the cone is equal to the height of the cube, but it tells us that the vertex of the cone is on the opposite face of the cube. So if you observe, this is the height h of the cone. This is the radius r, which we have already calculated, 7 by 2. But the height of the cone is equal to the side of the cube. because both of them are equal, right? The base of the cone is here on the base of the cube, and the vertex of the cone is in the opposite face. So clearly the height is equal to S, right? So I can conclude that this S equals to the height of the cone. So height is 7. Height is equal to the side, which is 7. Radius is equal to half of side, which is 7/2. Done. Substitute the values now. You don't have to do all this drama in the exam, drawing the figures and all that. You just have to understand that the side of the cube is 7. Side of the cube is 7. So height will be 7 and radius will be half of 7. This would take less than 15 seconds in my view if you can visualize the diagram, right? Now substitute and get the answer. So we need the slant height, root over r square plus h square. So root over r square, 7/2 whole square plus h square. What is h? Height. Yeah, 49. I mean 7 square, right? Do that calculation. So 49/4 plus 49. I'm sure half will be common. What is inside the root we have to calculate, right? Yeah, do the calculation. So what do we get? Root over 49/4 plus this is 49. So 49 times 5 basically. You understand? 49 into 4 plus 49. 49 into 5, 245. And this will give you half of square root of 245. I think that's the answer, which is not there in any of the options. Option 5, none of this will be correct. Yeah, option 5, none of this will be the correct answer. Very simple, very simple. You do, in fact, if you observe, we don't have to use the volume of the cone at all, right? Volume of the cone is not needed here. Getting it? Option 5, none of this will be the correct answer. None of these. Because he clearly mentions that the base of the cone is equal to the side of the cube. I mean, diameter of the base is side of the cube. So diameter D is equal to side. So 2r is equal to 7, r is 7/2. And the vertex of the cone is on the opposite face. So vertex is on the opposite face, sorry. And the base is here, which means the height of the cone will be equal to side of the cube. See, this is slant height. I mean, don't get confused. This is not side, this is slant height, which we have calculated here. So yeah, 49 times 5, 245. Square root of 245/2 will be the final answer. Option 5, none of these. Let me quickly check how many of you have understood this. Should we go for the next one? He very clearly mentioned that the word, somebody is mentioning that is exactly fitted inside the type A cube. We can verify if actually 385 will be the volume of such a cube or cone or not, right? The cone is exactly fitted inside the cube, he says. Now, what is the volume of a cone? 1/3 pi r square h. So you can maybe, if you want, you can check, but what is the significance of the 385? I don't understand. That's not needed at all. Yeah, so it's not really tough. I think square root of 245/4 should be the final answer. Got it? Should we go for the next one now? Difficult? It's not difficult. This was easy. So you have to be really strong in your concepts, right? Then it will be easy to solve these questions. There's no point in learning shortcut formulae. It won't help. You have to be good in your calculations and thorough with your basics. Let me present the next question to you all. I am sure all of you have followed. Let's move to the next one. So the next question on your screens now. So we are done with this first set on data interpretation. I know we have spent too much time discussing that, but I think the takeaway is that you can really solve the questions in a smart way. I mean, most of you found those questions to be tough, but if you use smart methods, you can arrive at the answer really quick. Got it? Anyone who's got the answer to this one? 9 kg. Mathan is the first one who's got it 9. Balaji says it should be 10. Interesting question, by the way. It says Deepak stores X kg of sugar. A buys 1/3 this amount plus 1 kg of sugar. B buys 1/4 of the remaining amount plus half a kg of sugar. And then C also buys 60% of the remaining amount plus 1.3 kg of sugar. Thereafter, no sugar is left. What is the value of X? So Mathan, Chandan and Mohit have got 9 and so has Paras, but Balaji says it should be 10. Archana has got 7.5, Sneha has also got 7.5, Diksha says it should be 7. Radhakrishna has got 8. Good, we have covered everything. Finally, very quickly, 7, 7.5, 8, 9, 10, right? All the options have been covered. Glad to look at our variety, right? You know, we have a variety of, I usually thought we'll have a variety of solutions for a particular question. I never knew that we can have a variety of answers for the same question. Yeah, this is sad. So many answers. All the 5 have been covered. All the 5 have been covered. Should we look at the solution now? 7, 8, 7.5, 9, 10. Yeah. So thank you for giving me so many options here. Let us discuss the solution now. So the question reads, Deepak stores X kg of sugar. A buys 1/3 this amount plus 1 kg of sugar. B buys 1/4 of the remaining amount plus half a kg of sugar. Then C also buys 60% the remaining amount plus 1.3 kg of sugar. Thereafter, no sugar is left. What is the value of X? 7, 7.5 or 8 or 9 or 10, right? So understand what he says. Deepak has got X kg of sugar and we have to find out this X, right? The same old mathematics problem. What is X? Yeah. What is the value of X? That's what we have to find out here. Deepak has bought X kg of sugar. Now, the person A buys 1/3 this amount, 1/3 of this amount, which means 1/3 of X plus 1 kg of sugar. 1/3 of that amount plus 1 kg of sugar. So he has bought this and he has left. From the remaining amount, B buys. Now there's new person B he's bought 1/4 of the remaining amount plus half a kg of sugar, plus half a kg of sugar. And then there is a guy C who's bought 60% of the remaining amount plus 1.3 kg of sugar. And after C leaves, there is no sugar left. Thereafter, there is no sugar left. So what is the value of X is the question. What is the value of X is the question. Let me explain this to you. This is like a complex one. I know many of you would get stuck and we would not know how to, I mean, we would end up wasting a lot of time. But then how do we solve this? The value is X. In step 1, X is the value, X kgs. What happens in step 2? A comes into picture. A has bought how much? 1/3 of X plus 1. So he has bought what? X plus 3 by 3. This is what X has bought. I mean, A has bought, right? A comes in step 2, let's say. In step 1, initially we have X. A has bought 1/3 of X. 1/3 of this amount meaning what? 1/3 of X plus 1 kg. So they say X by 3 plus 1. So X plus 3 by 3. Implies what is remaining? I'm trying to find out the remaining quantity. What is the remaining quantity? X minus of X plus 3 by 3. Yes or no? Overall was X initially before this. Then X plus 3 by 3 has been sold. So remaining is this. Simplify, how much will this be? 3X minus X, 2X minus 3. 2X minus 3 by 3. Now step 3. B comes into picture. B has bought how much? B has bought 1/4 of remaining amount. See, remaining is this. 2X minus 3 by 3. B has bought 1/4 of this plus half a kg of sugar. So how much has B bought? B has bought 1/4 of this value. 2X minus 3 by 3. B has bought 1/4 of this plus half kg of sugar. Plus half a kg of sugar. Yes or no? B has bought this much, 1/4 of this value. This was remaining. All these are remaining values, right? Whatever we are getting finally are remaining values. So B has bought 1/4 of this plus half kg. So 1/4 of this plus half kg. Which implies what is remaining now? What is now remaining? See, before this step, the remaining was this 2x minus 3 by 3. From this, subtract this. This has been sold, right? We had this left, from which this has been sold. So 2x minus 3 by 3 minus this. Yeah. So this is like minus 1/4 of 2x minus 3 by 3 and minus half. You know, minus of minus. So minus and minus half. So what will this be equal to? So I think if you take 2x by 3 minus 3 common, 2x minus 3 by 3 common, we'll get 1 minus 1/4, which is 3/4. So 3/4 of 2x minus 3 by 3 minus half. So 3 and 3 gets cancelled. And I think finally we will have 4 as LCM. So 2x minus 3 minus 2. So I think 2x minus 5 by 4. This is remaining. You understand? 2x minus 3 by 4 minus 1 by 2. So it's like 2 by 4. So 2x minus 3 by 4 minus 2 by 4. So 2x minus 3 minus 2. 2x minus 5 by 4. I mean, you can look at the detailed step-by-step process to understand. Now this is remaining. Now comes the step 4. Who comes here? C. C comes into picture. C buys 60% of the remaining amount plus 1.3 kg of sugar. C is about how much? 60% of remaining. 60% of this value. 2x minus 5 by 4. Plus 1.3. Plus 1.3. C is bought. C is bought 60% of the remaining amount plus 1.3. So this is remaining now. See, initially this itself was remaining. I mean, that's the value. After that, this was remaining. Then we got this to be remaining. Yeah, assuming my calculation is correct here. I mean, you can ratify the steps. And then C is about 60% of this plus 1.3. And then there is no sugar left. After this, the remaining is 0. After this, remaining is how much? Remaining is equal to 0. There is nothing left after this, right? 0. Yeah. So how do you solve this now? How do you solve this? We have got these 4 steps. I hope all of you have understood the 4 steps there, right? Without any difficulty. Yeah. Now how do you see? Remaining is 0. He says after that there is no sugar left. But how do you actually calculate the remaining value? Remaining value is this minus this. You understand what we have been doing so far? X minus this gave you remaining. Then this minus this gave you this remaining. So this 0 can be equated as what? This 2x minus 5 by 4. I am not for a moment asking you to do this in the exam. Just understand what would ideally happen. This was initially left minus what has C bought is this. 60% can be taken as 3 by 5 to make it a little simpler. So 3 by 5 of 2x minus 5 by 4 minus 1.3. This is the final equation. Ha. So 2x minus 5 by 4 is a value which was left after B left, amount which was left after B left, from which C has bought this much. So remaining will be 2x minus 5 by 4 minus of, this is 60%. I mean, this 60% can be taken as 3/5. I hope you understand, right? This is like 3/5 of the value. So 3/5 of 2x minus 5 by 4 minus 1.3. This is equal to 0. So we have got one equation in terms of x. Solve for x. That's the solution. Solve for x. Yeah, solve for x to get the answer. Now, all of you would be wondering, do you want us to do this exam? No, absolutely not. Waste of time. Waste of time. If this is how you want to solve it, the easiest solution is skip and go to the next one. The best way to solve this question is to skip it and go to the next one. If at all, this is what you have in your mind. Do not do this in the exam, right? Do not try this in your exam. It's like a stunt, right, which is performed on reality shows. They say, don't try this at home. Don't try this in the exam. This is going to make your life miserable. And one step, if you go wrong somewhere, you have to redo the whole stuff. So this is definitely not the way to do it. I mean, you'll get the right answer, I'm sure, but we can't do this in the exam. So let us look at a smarter way of getting the answer. So clear that up. Now let's see the smart way of getting the answer. Go by options. Smart. Use your options. If all of you say that the most difficult part in bank exams is that there are 5 options, I'll say the advantage is that we have got 5 options. Having options is not the disadvantage. Having options is an advantage. Substitution, reverse engineering. Heard of this? I'm sure most of you are engineers, right? Reverse engineering. Don't find out what is x. Substitute and check what can be x following the given conditions. 3 conditions are given to us. Initially there was x, from which A buys 1/3 and 1 kg. Then B buys 1/4 of remaining and half kg. Then C buys 60% of remaining and 1.3 kg. After that, nothing is left. So you take a value of x 1 by 1. X can be 7, can be 7.5, can be 8, can be 9, can be 10. And check that by following this process, where do we get finally 0? No sugar left. Whichever option gives you no sugar left, that's your answer. That's your answer. So let me do that for you now. Now, do we have to do it for all the options? Well, ideally, yes, you have to do it for all the options, but your choice of options can help you save some time. Are you able to follow? I'll tell you. I am assuming that option 1 option 3 and option 5 are not the probable answers. I'll tell you why. The first step tells me that A has buy 1/3 of the quantity. 1/3 of the quantity plus 1 kg. A has bought 1/3 of the quantity plus 1 kg. Whatever this amount is. This amount is nothing but X. This amount is what? X. Yes or no? A has bought 1/3 of X. What is X? If you take X as 7, 1/3 of 7 is not an integer value. Now, it is not a rule that it should be an integer. It's not a rule that it should be an integer, but I would assume that it should be an integer so that the calculation is easy. Otherwise, it will become very complex. So 1/3 of 7 will give you what? 2.33. No, doesn't look good. 1/3 of 8, 2.66. Even this doesn't look good. 1/3 of 10 is 3.33. Even that's like a little typical one, right? 1/3 of 7.5 is 2.5. So maybe yes, A has bought 2.5 plus 1 kg. 1/3 of 9 is 3. So 3 plus 1, 4 kg. Could be possible. So I will anyway have to check all the options, but I will start not with option 1. I'll start with option 2, then option 4, and then I'll proceed for the other ones. If I fail to get the answer in option 2 and option 4, only then I'll jump to the other options. Because these are unlikely in my view. Option 1, option 3, and option 5 are unlikely. This is an assumption. Let me tell you, this is an assumption. I'm starting with 7.5, then I'll move to 9. Or if you have a gut feeling that option 4 should be correct, start with option 4. If that satisfies, that's your answer. Otherwise, go for other options. So let me start with option 2. Option 2. Let us assume option 2 is correct, which is 7.5 kg. Now, how much will A buy? A will buy 1/3 of 7.5 plus 1. Very quick calculations. So 2.5 plus 1, 3.5. Implies what is remaining? 7.5 minus 3.5, 4 is remaining. What will be by 1/4 of 4 plus half a kg? 1/4 of 4 is 1, 1 plus half is 1.5. Now what is remaining? 4 was there, remaining is what has been 1.5. 4 minus 1.5, 2.5. Now what will we see by 60% of 2.5 plus 1.3 kgs. What is 60% of 2.5? 60% of 2.5 will be 1.5. 1.5 plus 1.3 is 2.8. How on planet is it possible that when there was only 2.5 kg left, C bought 2.8 kgs? In my stock, there is 2.5 kg. This fellow C comes and buys 2.8 kgs. Where will we get that extra 300 grams from? No. Not possible. Which means option 2 is wrong. Let's try option 4. Same exercise very quickly. Option 4. How much is this? 9 kg. I'm just quickly trying it out. So how much will A buy? A will buy 1/3 of 9 plus 1 kg. 1/3 of 9 is 3. 3 plus 1, 4 kgs. Implies what is remaining? Understand. 9 minus 4, 5 kgs. What will B buy? B will buy 1/4 of 5 plus half a kg. 1/4 of 5 is how much? 1.25 plus half is 1.75. So what is remaining? 5 minus 1.75. This was the stock minus 1.75. 5 minus 1.75 is 3.25 kgs. Now what will C buy? C will buy 60% of 3.25 plus 1.3. Find out how much is remaining. 60% of 3.25. 60% of 3.25. Or otherwise, understand. I'll give you one more logic. Let's do this calculation. Now 60% of 3.25 plus 1.3. When you calculate, I think 60% is it's like 320. 60% is 3/5 of this, right? So 325 by 5 is 65. 65 into 3 by 5, you got it right? 65 into 3, which is 1.95. 1.95 plus 1.3 is 3.25. Yes, it is equal to 3.25, which implies remaining is 0. That's what we want. Nothing was left. So option 4 is correct. I mean, this calculation has to be done very quickly, right? So option 4, 9 kg is the correct answer. Go by options. Remember, you don't have to solve the question for you to arrive at the answer. I mean, always using the regular method, right? You can also go by options. So very clearly, option 4 is the answer because it satisfies the condition. I have 9 kg. I sold 1/3 of that plus 1 kg. So 4 kg sold, remaining is, all these are remaining values. Whatever we have on the left hand side or all right hand side are all remaining values. Then from that remaining one, 5 kg, we sold 1/4 plus half a kg. Then remaining is 3.5. From that we sold 60% and then 1.3 kgs. He's saying that no sugar is left. Yes, no sugar is left after this. So option 4, 9 kg can be taken as the correct answer. And another logic, let me tell you. This last statement is very important. Let me highlight that. The last statement which says C bought 60% of the remaining amount plus 1.3 kgs of sugar. This is very important. See, what does it say? Thereafter, no sugar is left. Try and understand this. I'll explain that in yellow. Whatever has been highlighted in yellow, let me explain that process in yellow. Or Yellow may not be bright enough here. Let me explain that point here. 60% of remaining plus 1.3. There is some remaining value. Where do I write? I'm writing it here. There is some remaining value. C has bought 60% of this and 1.3 kg. See, if C has bought 60% of this, what is left out? 40%. From any remaining value, if you have bought 60%, what should be remaining? After that, what is remaining finally? 40%. He says 60 bought 60% of this plus 1.3 kg of sugar, and after that, nothing is left. See, C has bought 60%, this one, and he has bought 1.3 kgs. After that, nothing is left, which means C bought this 40% also, right? If nothing is left, if no sugar is left, C has bought actually 100%. After C buys, nothing is left, which means obviously C has bought 100% of the remaining value. But he says C bought 60% of remaining plus 1.3 kg of sugar. So can I say that that remaining 40% is equal to 1.3? All these are smart logics that you have to apply. Yeah, C has bought everything basically. C has bought 100%, but instead of saying 100%, he says C has bought 60% of remaining plus 1.3. So I can equate the remaining 1.3 as 40% of the remaining value. So if 40% is 1.3, 100% is how much? 40% is 1.3, 100% will be how much? 100% will be, I think, 1.3 into 2.5. 100% will be 1.3 into 2.5 is 2.6 plus 6.5, 3.25. So I know initially itself that in the final step 3.5 kg of sugar should be there. That's what we have got here, right? You see? So I can stop here itself. Like if I had done this calculation in the beginning itself, I will not proceed for the next step here. The moment I get 2.5 kg remaining, I can say this is wrong, because after B leaves, remaining should be 3.25. Here you see after B leaves, remaining is 3.25. So this itself can give us the answer. At this step itself, we can arrive at the answer. Anyway, option 4, 9 kg is the final one. So the point that I'm trying to make is you don't have to solve in the regular step-by-step process to arrive at the answer. Use options. Use options and do it really quick. All said and done. Whether you go by options or you go by unit digit method, or you go by substitution, or you go by elimination, or you follow a regular method, or you use a shortcut formula, or you use some smart method, you'll have to do calculation. Right? Anything that you do, numbers are involved. You have to do calculation. I think the only method where calculation is not required when you are solving questions from quantitative aptitude, the only method where calculation is not required is when you are copying it from your fellow student there. Copy and note down the answer. There is no calculation required. Because he has got it, I will also get the same answer. I'm not asking you to do it for even for a second, but understand that's the only method where calculation is not needed. So the biggest or the most important tool is to sharpen your numerical skills, right? 40% of 3.25, if you take 10 seconds to do it on paper, you're out of the race. Understand that the competition is huge. If you cannot do your calculations quickly, makes no sense, right? Bank exams are like a running race. Bank exam is like a running race. Everybody will finish the race. You can't say that I also completed the race. 20 people have already reached the finishing line. What's the point if you are 21st? Right? If you want to win the race, you have to be the fastest. And for you to be the fastest, you have to be really quick. So cut down the paperwork. Any method that you follow, cut down the paperwork, especially when you are dealing with numbers. Okay? Should we go for the next one? Diksha says units place method is amazing. Yes, it is amazing, and I'm sure there are many such other amazing methods that we have on our covered through our TalentSprint program, right? So learn all those methods. I think it will become easier for you to score more. And I would not say that just by learning the methods it will become easier. Learning is only 10% of your preparation. 90% is practice. So learning alone is not going to help Diksha and all others. Practice, practice, and more practice. Okay, should we go for the next one? I know we are like running late as per my schedule, because 9 o'clock I'm supposed to close the session. We started at 7 to 9 is the planned timing. We have not been able to solve many questions, but many concepts have been covered. A lot of learning here, I would say. I don't know if you would agree with me or not, but let me jump to the next one now. Hope all of you have followed this. Yeah, I can speed up, guys. I can really speed up, but the only challenge I have is if all of you don't follow, it would become a little difficult. Anyway, let me present the next question to you all, which is on your screens now. That's different number series. Somebody wanted me to solve questions on number series. I was looking at the comments in the beginning of the session, right? So here's one question, number series. Let's see how many of you get the answer. What will come in place of question mark in the following number series? You have 45 seconds for this. Your clock starts now. Abhishek Jaiswal says, please teach allegation. Yeah, we'll discuss allegation not in this class, but maybe in the next class we will try and take a question on allegation. All those who have missed the session or joined late, let me mention that this video would be put up on our platform as a recorded archive, so don't have to worry about missing out on anything. You can watch the recorded archive of this live session. Yeah, it's like watching the India-Australia match today, right? So if you watch it tomorrow, the same live session, you'll still learn the whole thing. So don't panic. And yes, please subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel, to get notified about all such events in future and to be able to watch the archives of these sessions, right? You will get a notification from YouTube itself. Okay, got the answer, anyone? Number series question, what will come in place of question mark? 1327, 992, 713, 480, 279, question mark. What comes next? What comes next? Shushma says, will the video be available after the live sessions? Yes, Shushma, video will be available. Okay, Archana has got 68, Sneha has got 98, Ashish has got 88. Thank you for giving me that variety. We have got 3 different answers already. Only 78 and 108 is left out, which I'm sure we will get within no time. Yes, Venkatesh, thank you for covering 78. So 68, 78, 98 and 88 are done. Only 108 is left out. Anybody who's got that? 108? Vikram Reddy has skipped it. Mr. Satisfy has got 98. I'm not sure if 98 satisfies the conditions or not satisfy, but we'll wait for that. Venu Gopal has got 3, 98. Most of you have got 98, yeah? Abhishek Jaiswal and who else? Jits has got 88. Darshini is hungry and so am I. I'm gonna go grab something immediately after my session. Pavani has got 78. Yeah, nobody's got 108. Oh, this is disappointing. Only one option is left out. Apurva Rawat, thank you so much. Finally, we have got option 5, 108 covered. So, it's like sweeping all the options there. Incredible has also got 108. Good. So, like I said, I always thought that there is a variety of solutions possible for a question. But a variety of answers possible for the same question we are getting to see today a lot of times. Chalo, let's take it up now. So here we go. Okay, here we go. What will come in place of the question mark in the following number series? So this is a question from number series. You know that number series is an important topic. It usually carries a weightage of 5 marks, either finding out missing numbers or wrong numbers in the exam. In my view, before I proceed with the solution, let me tell you, spend 30 seconds. There are 2 steps, there are. You look at a number series question. 2 things you have to do. Spend about 30 seconds. Yeah, spend about 30 seconds on the question. There are 2 possibilities. You may get the answer. You may not get the answer. Yes or no. Right? If you get the answer yes, well and good. Mark the answer and go to the next one. Yeah, happy. If you don't get the answer, even better. Skip and go to the next one. Even then you should be happy. Remember that number series is one topic where there is no method to get the answer. There is no method, there is no shortcut, there is no technique, there is no formula that can give you the answer for these questions. You may or may not get the answer because it all depends on the logic. You have to decode this. You have to find out what is the logic behind getting these values in this fashion. What is the rhythm here? What is the step-by-step process that has been followed? And how many such logics exist? Infinite such logics exist. You never know how much time would it take. You're getting it? This is like a gamble. I mean, the only way you can solve the question is by trial and error. You understand trial and error? You try with something. If you get the answer, well and good. Otherwise, if you get an error, try again and try again and try again and try again till you get the right answer. But do you have this patience and time in the exam? No, you can't do this in the exam. So the easiest way to solve this question is to, the strategy I'm saying is to spend about 30 seconds, 15, 20, 30 seconds. If you feel like, okay, you're coming closer, fine. Otherwise, just go to the next one. This is like, otherwise, if you keep spending time and keep trying it out, you are simply investing your precious time in something where you never know what the result is going to be, right? Any amount of practice will not help you in my view. You may solve 500 number series questions before you go for the exam. Will you get 5 out of 5? Not guaranteed. You don't practice at all. Can you get 5 out of 5? Yes. There are high chances that you may get 5 out of 5 in the exam. I'm not saying that you should not practice, but don't focus. When you're preparing, your focus should not be on number series too much. Yeah? Now, since there is no method, there is nothing that I can explain you. I can only give you the answer. So let me give you the answer to this question. 1327 is 11 cube minus 4. 1331 minus 4. 992 is 10 cube minus 8. 713 is 9 cube, 729 minus 16. You understand? 11 cube is 1331 minus 4, 1327. 992. 10 cube is 1000 minus 8, 992. 9 cube is 729 minus 16, 713. 480. How do you get 480? Now it is easy. 8 cube minus 32. 8 cube is 512 minus 32, 480. Then how do you get 279? 279 is like 7 cube minus 64. 7 cube is 343. 343 minus 64. Yes, 343 minus 64. 343 minus 60 is 283. 283 minus 4 is 279. So what should be the next one here? Question mark. Follow the pattern, right? 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So this should be 6. Cube, 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 cube. So this should be cube. Minus, 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 minus. So this should be minus. 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. So this should be 128. What are we taking? We are taking like multiples of 4. We are doubling the value that is getting subtracted, right? 4 to 8 to 16 to 32 to 64 into 2 into 2 into 2. So 128. What is 6 cube? 216. 216 minus 128. 216 minus 128. 72 plus 16. 88 is the answer. 88. Option 4 is the correct answer. Now, if you're wondering how did we get this, how do you know that this is the solution? That's what I was telling you, right? You never know. The only way to get the answer is trial and error, right? Anyway, the final answer is 88. I can't help you beyond this in this particular question. But the point that I'm trying to make is there's no method. You may not get the answer. Now, if you ask me, why did he do that? 11 cube minus 4, 10 cube minus 8. How should we know 11 cube minus 4 will give you the number? No, you don't know. You either get it or you don't get it. As simple as that. How should I know that 713 is 9 cube minus 16? You may not know. Go to the next one. What am I telling you? Easier understand. Our target in the exam is not to solve 35 out of 35. There are 35 questions in aptitude. Is your target to solve 35 questions? No. Not achievable. 60 minutes, 100 questions cannot be solved. Your target should be to solve as many questions as possible in that limited time. Yeah, you've got limited time, 60 minutes, 100 questions. Try and cover as many questions as possible. And for that to happen, you have to choose your questions wisely. Yeah, choosing your questions wisely is important. And very, very choosy. You have to be very, very choosy when you come to these questions. In fact, this is easier, I would say. Why? We have to find a missing number, right? Sometimes you have to find the wrong number. Life becomes miserable. Why? 6 numbers. You don't even know which one is wrong. You try with something. How do you try? You understand? It becomes even more complex there. Finding out the wrong number. Finding out missing number is fine, but finding out the wrong number, a lot more complex. Somebody says, I'm happy that I found the logic in 5 seconds. Mr. Satisfied. Now I know how you got a satisfying answer. You marked 88, I remember. I wish they allow us to carry Google in the exam also, right? Yeah. Google knows everything. I think, Google is the only way to get the answer to these questions. So the point is, skip. If you ask me, what are the different types of shortcuts? Number one shortcut that you must learn is to skip questions. You're not there to hit every ball. Choose your questions wisely, right? You don't hit every ball, right? When you're playing cricket. You wait for the easier ones, right? You are respecting good, and this is a good one, I would say. Good ball. I don't know. I'll not touch it. I know that I may get caught there, so I better skip this one, right? Just duck. Let it go. Let it go. If you like kind of become emotional and take it to that, नहीं ये तो solve करना ही है, number series का है, 5 marks आएंगे, then gone. Yeah. So be careful. Should we go for the next one now? Next question. Yeah. Let me present the next question to you all. Now that we have done one on missing number, let us take one on wrong number. Here we go. In the following series, number series, a wrong number is given. Find out that wrong number. Try it. I'll leave you with this for like at least a minute. You see, average time spent is 60 seconds. Accuracy is 12%. I would say average, I mean, your time spent should be here 30 seconds. 30 seconds means you not get the answer, which is fine. But don't spend the 31st second. Good. Skip. I'm glad that you guys have skipped it. That's the way you do it, right? Skip it. Skip is the answer. Skip and go to the next one. Gautami says how to know your live classes time. Gautami, subscribe to our channel. You are on our YouTube channel. Just subscribe to that channel, hit the subscribe button and you'll get the notifications. Anyone who's got the answer? Okay, a lot of suggestions here for the timing. Well, we will look at that, and if there is a change in the timing, we'll let you guys know. I think the demand is to do the sessions at 6 p.m. right? Because TalentSprint students are used to sessions at 6 p.m. I mean, just to throw some light, I'm sure most of these guys who are asking me to do the session at 6 p.m. are used to see us at 6 p.m. right? Every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Saturday we meet 6 p.m. So we did it at 7 p.m. today, and looks like that has not gone really well with some of you. But we will consider your suggestion, and if there is a change in the timing, we would let you know. I'm sure any timing that we do will not satisfy all of you, right? I mean, even if we do it at, let's say, 2 a.m. midnight, some of you will be like, 2 a.m. most of you will be like not happy. But even if I do it at like 9, 8, any time is not going to be convenient to all of you. So I think this was based on a survey that we had conducted. We had chosen the one which has been opted by most of you, but we would still consider your suggestion, and if there's any change in the schedule, we will let you know. But for that, you guys ensure that you either follow our events calendar, which is there in the TalentSprint program, right? You get to know about all the events, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah. Okay, skip. Anyone who's got the answer? 549. Madhukar has got 549, which is there in the options. Option 4, 549. Yeah. Option 2. Who has got option 2? Vishwanath has got option 2, which is 8,850. Preeti says, is it 9? I don't know, Preeti. See, I'll tell you guys, very honestly, if I am taking the exam, I'll blindly skip these questions and go to the next one. This is like not my cup of tea. I mean, leave these questions. And I never get the answers, to be honest. This one also I did not get it. The GridUp team has given us the solution. I was like, who would spend time on this? And what do they try to test? I don't understand. I mean, logic is one thing, but what? You can make it as complex as possible, huh? Anil says, I'm so hungry, but I can't quit the session. Same is the problem that I have, Anil. I am also very hungry, but I can't quit the session. I mean, technically I can. It's 9:10. We're supposed to close it at 9. And we can discuss the remaining questions in our next session, right? You know that we are going to do, what, 7 sessions as a part of this refresher series, IBPS Pure Refresher. Yeah. Nagini says, really can't find the answer in short time in this type of questions, even if I play with numbers. Yes. So I think, long story short, SKIP. That's the best way to solve these questions. Some of you have marked 549, 9, and other options there. But skip. 8850 is what Jits has mentioned. Let me now give you the solution. Kindly make a course. Sabina says kindly make a course on allegations. Yeah, we already have a course on allegations, Sabina. There's a video on allegations where we have discussed 4 models, 4 different concepts relevant to allegations and mixtures, and smart ways of solving those questions there. Okay, Jay Abhishek Jaiswal says, can you speak in Hindi? Yes, pretty much. Let me now discuss the solution to this particular question. Here we go. So this is how I perform in the exam, right? In the following number series, a wrong number is given. Find out that wrong number. SKIP. That's my solution. That's my solution. My solution. I'm not saying that this is the solution that all of you have to follow. You may wish to spend 30 seconds, but I would not even do that. Okay, very important. Being choosy is important when you go for these exams, right? Skip. Now, what do? Let me recollect what the solution was, right? Honestly, I have forgotten how do we arrive at the answer this one. I mean, I did not even focus on this particular one. So what are we doing here? I think I'll do it in the reverse fashion, right? It's like this. I get 9 divided by 1 minus 5 is equal to 4. You see, 9 and 4. Then I think 56 divided by 4 is how much? 14 minus 5 is equal to 9. Yeah, I've got it now. Now the pattern is clear. So 549 divided by 9 minus 5 is equal to 56. Let me just verify this. 549 by 9, 61. 61 minus 5, 56. Yes. Then 8850 divided by, then it should be 16 minus 5 is equal to 549. No, this can't be, because 8850 divided by 16 can be an integer value. That will be like 8000 by 16 is 500, 800 by 16 is 50, 50 by 16 is 3 point something. So 553 minus 5 is not 549. Yeah, so I am sure that 8850 is the wrong number. This is the wrong number, option 2. So to find out what the answer is, you should be like 221725 divided by 25 minus 5 should give you whatever that number is. But anyway, our job here is not to find out what the correct number would be. Our job is to find out what is the wrong number. So I think the misfit here is 8850. I'm explaining it to you in the reverse fashion, from bottom to top or from right to left, if you look at the series here. And I'll only explain these first last 3 steps. The same has to be applied. I mean, I don't want to spend time in calculating here. So what are we doing? Take the number 9. See, 9 is there in the series. 9 by 1, 9 divided by 1. Minus 5. So what's the pattern? Minus 5, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5. Divide by 1, divide by 4, divide by 9, divide by 16, divide by 25. Now what are this? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25? These are all perfect squares. I mean, I don't have to tell you the logic behind that, right? So if I have to, go one more step, I'll take 36, then 49, then 64. That's the idea. So divide the number by 9, 9 by 1 minus 5. 9 by 1 is 9, minus 5 is 4. 56 by 4 is 14, minus 5 is 9. 549 by 9 is 61, minus 5 is 56. Then whatever divided by 16 minus 5 gives you 549, that's the correct number. But anyway, let's not even worry about that. So 8850 is the answer. And rightly said, skip. So that's the reason I'm saying skip it and go to the next one. Somebody says even ACP Pradyuman cannot solve this. He anyway doesn't solve anything, right? He's like, Daya, pata karke aao. Abhijit, pata karke aao. And he's always busy shaking his hand. So he anyway doesn't do it, but yeah. Maybe Google can only help us. Should we go for the next one? I mean, all those who did not follow that context, ACP Pradyuman, Daya and Abhijit are all characters of that series, right? CID, which is telecast on Sony, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Sony. Or to put it rightly, sometimes I feel like it's not CID which is telecast on Sony, it is Sony which is telecast on CID, because every time you open that channel, it is CID. Yeah, so it looks like it is the other way around. Anyways, should we go for the next one? Time is up, by the way. I wish I could solve more questions, but don't worry. We'll meet again, and before we leave, we will solve 1 or 2 more questions. Ashish says, I usually watch CID. Stop watching it now. That's not going to help you in your exam. Yeah. Any distraction is to be killed. See, everything that you do in the next 18 days of your IBPS prelims exam, right? You should think, by doing this, am I going to go an inch closer to my goal? If the answer is yes, do it. If the answer is no, don't do it. Yeah. Watching CID is not going to help. Should we go for the next one? Yes. Next question. One more number series? Nah. Okay, let me present this to you now. Time and work. Let's take something from time and work. Yeah, here's the next one. Solve this now. P and Q complete 80% of the work if they work together. Q and R complete 50% of the work together in the same time. If all three work together for the same duration, they would complete 100% of the work. Also, no one else is working other than P, Q and R. Who is the least efficient among the three? Looks like a simple one. You have 1 minute. Your time starts now. Venu Madhavi says, sir, do you watch TV? I wonder. Why do you wonder, Baba? I am also from the same planet. I don't get to watch, that's a different story. But yeah. Not that couch potato. Anyway, anyone who's got the answer? Bhavani says, I've started my quant preparation recently. Is it possible to complete all the quant topics by the PU exam? Yes. You have 18 days left for your PU exam, and in my view, you can complete the learning of all the quant topics in about 7 days. So you'll still be left with 11 days for your practice. You have 11 more days. And if you're working, don't cry. Cut down your sleep and prepare. Got it? R is the common response that I see here, right? Puneet, Amit, Nikunj Agarwal, Apurva Rawat, all these guys have got R. Rahul says cannot be determined. Harshavardhan Reddy has got P, Ankit has got R, Hitesh has got R, Abdul has got R. And let us discuss this now. I guess I've given enough time. Let's take this up. Mainak Karmakar says hungry. You don't remind me that you guys are hungry, right? I start feeling hungry myself, yeah. I tend to forget that, but you guys remind me. Q, R. Okay, Satish has got Q, but the most common response is R. So let's take this up. Abhishek Singh says Q. Shashank Naidu also has got Q. And Srinivasulu has got R. And he has lost his patience, right? Look at the number of R's that he has typed. Okay, so here we go. The question says P and Q complete 80% of the work if they work together, and Q and R complete 50% of the work together in the same time. If all three work together for the same duration, they would complete 100% of the work. They would complete 100% of the work. Also, no one else is working other than P, Q, and R. Who is the least efficient? Who is the least efficient among the three? Who is the least efficient among the three? Yeah, so this is about efficiency. He says P and Q complete 80% of the work if they work together, and Q and R complete 50% of the work in the same time. So basically, if some amount of time is given to you, if some amount of time is given, P and Q would complete 80% of the work, and Q and R would complete 50% of the work in that time. But then when all three of them are working together for the same duration again, this is the key point here, right? The time is constant. For every group, the time is constant. They would complete 100% of the work. So P, Q, and R will be able to complete 100% of the work. Also, no one else is working other than P, Q, and R. No one else is working other than P, Q. So P, Q, and R are the only three guys who are working here. Who is the least efficient among the three? Who is the least efficient among the three? Is it P or Q or R, or all are equally efficient? Our answer cannot be determined. Simple. The time is constant. We have given the same time to all of them, right? Time is constant. Now understand, P and Q together can complete 80% of the work, 80% of W. In the same time, Q and R can complete 50% of the work. So if some amount of time is given, like if you sum this up, what happens? P plus 2Q plus R in that given time can complete 130% of the work. Yes or no? Meaning, how did two Qs come into picture? There is only one Q, which is fine. But if you theoretically add these two equations, what happens? In the same amount of time, one P, one R and two Qs are working, they would be able to finish 130% of the work. But then the question says if all three work together, which means if P, Q and R work together, for the same time, they will finish 100% of the work. Now, compare these two equations. What do we get? P plus 2Q plus R can complete 130% of the work in a given amount of time. But in the same amount of time, 1P and 1Q and 1R can complete 100% of the work. So what does it imply? Can we say, see, you take the difference of these two equations, right? P and P gets cancelled, R and R gets cancelled, 2Q minus Q, 130% of work minus 100% of work is 30% of work. Which means, in that time, Q is able to do 30% of the work. If Q is doing 30% of the work, P would do 50% of the work in the same amount of time, because 50 plus 30 only will give you 80. And if Q is doing 30 again, R would do 20% in the same amount of time, because 30 plus 20 will give you 50. That's it. So you know that for a given time, when the time is constant, for a given amount of time, Q can complete 30% of the work, P can complete 50% of the work, and R does only 20% of the work. So who is the least efficient? Who is the least efficient here? I'm giving the same amount of time to all three of them. All three of them have got 3 hours. All three of them have got, let's say, 7 hours to do the job. P can finish 50% of the job, Q will finish 30% of the job, and R does only 20%. So clearly, R is the least efficient, right? R is the least efficient. Who is the most efficient? P is the most efficient. P can do 50% of the work in that time, right? And Q again is the guy who's in middle of these two, right? So option 3, R is the correct answer. Option 3, R is the correct answer. I'm glad that all of you have got it right. I mean, most of you have got it right. Some of you said cannot be determined, like Pradeep here says it cannot be determined. Some others got Q and all that stuff. I'm sure a lot of you have skipped it. But see, this is a sitter, man. I mean, looks to be lengthy. 3-4 lines of question, time in work, efficiency, P and Q, Q and R, P, Q and R. But you can do it in a jiffy. I mean, not really jiffy, but 15-20 seconds. You just have to play with those equations. PQ 80, QR 50. So 2 times Q plus P plus R is 130. Okay. I am hoping all those who have got R as the answer have followed the same method. Soumya has asked me a question, right? Can we choose a few topics? Oh, it's 9:25. Okay. Soumya has asked a question that can we choose few topics in quant to clear the cutoff and be on the safe side as well. I wish I knew the answer to this, Soumya, but unfortunately, I don't know what are those topics which can be chosen so that you can clear the cutoff and be on the same side. I'm sure many of you want to know the cutoff score, right? What is the expected cutoff score? So what do you think will be the expected cutoff for IBPS PO prelims? Those who all have enrolled for the TalentSprint program, I'm sure they will find, I might be exaggerating this a little bit, but if you have enrolled for the TalentSprint program, you would not ask this question to me because you know what my answer is. Others usually ask, right? That, what could be the expected cutoff? You know what's my answer? I'm sure our TalentSprint students can answer this. Can somebody tell me what is expected cutoff from the TalentSprint pool of students? Please guys, answer. There are some queries popping up about cutoff, right? Around the cutoff score. Please do session on probability, permutations and combinations. Yeah. We'll try and take up all these type of questions. Don't know. Sai Prasad has answered it. Don't know. Unni R says you don't know. As though you know, huh? Nobody knows. That's the answer. Nobody knows. You don't know. But good. At least I don't know. Biprajit Malik says don't know. I don't know. Nikunj Agarwal says I don't know. You see? Every student who's mentioned I don't know here, or you don't know here, or we don't know here, or don't know here, has faced me in the past. That's for sure. Yeah. Cutoff is not in our control, man. I mean, like, what do we know? Nobody knows what the cutoff would be. So don't worry about it. I mean, this is something which you cannot influence, right? What you can influence is your own preparation and practice. So just focus on that. Okay. Okay, I think one last question before we call it a day. Let me pick up something from simplifications. We've been talking about numbers all this while, right? So let me just take one question before we close. It's 9:25 already. I'm glad that most of you are still here in the session. Let's take up something from approximations maybe. Yeah. Okay, here we go. The question is on your screens now. The last question of the session today. We will meet again on Friday with some questions on reasoning. And here we go. On your screens now. Gaurav Sharma says take help from Google. I think Google will tell. I'm sure even Google will not be able to tell. Amanjot Singh says guessing cutoff is like forecasting rain in a match. Amanjot, at least that can be done. Forecasting rain in a match is very easy. Guessing cutoff is a waste of time. Okay, so the last question on your screens now. It says what approximate value should come in place of question mark in the following question. You are not expected to calculate the exact value. You are not expected to calculate the exact value. Interesting, huh? So much of drama here. You look at this. Square root of 3135 divided by 3.02 whole square divided by square root of 48.7, that divided by 80.79 into 17.69 divided by square root of 16.24 equals to question mark square into square root of 784 divided by 111.78. Options are close. I think the first thing that you must do when you're solving questions on approximations is to look at the options and see how close or spaced out the options are. I mean, here 46, 42, 44 are like too close, right? So you know, it is going to be a little difficult to arrive at the answer. Difficult meaning, I mean, you may get approximately 45, let's say. Now 45 means what? Should we mark 44 or 46? And there are too many numbers in the question here. So if you are not too sure, skip it. I'm taking such questions. I mean, you might be wondering, some of you might say, you know, why are we like discussing about skipping the questions? Because remember guys, skipping is one of the best, not one of the best solutions, but yeah, a best solution in some of the questions, right? Skipping is the best solution for some question types, and especially when you have no clue about how to proceed. Skip and go to the next one. Average time, you see, average time 125 seconds, accuracy is 43%. So after having spent 2 minutes and 5 seconds, 125 seconds is 2 minutes and 5 seconds, guys have spent 2 minutes and 5 seconds on an average, and still only 43% of them have got it right. So this shows that, you know, you are better off skipping such questions. Yeah, so tell me that you have skipped it. I mean, you should be like confident. Remember, you're not there to solve every question. You're there to solve the most of them, right? So maybe this is the one you should skip. But I see that a lot of you have got the answer, and I'm sure by the time we start solving it, all the options would be covered. So let me start fetching all the options here. 36 is the common response. Hitesh, Vidya, Samriddhi, right? Then Venugopal has got 36, option 5. Gautami has got 46. So 2 options have been covered so far, 36 and 46. I can see Chetan, who has got 42. Kalyan has got 44. So 42, 44, 46 and 36 have been covered. Only 34 is left out, which has been marked by Vishwanath, right? Vishwanath. Okay. Good. So already all the options have been covered. Covered? Yeah. I think all the options have been covered. 35, Rahul has marked 35, which is not there in the options. So Rahul, what would you do when the answer is 35? I mean, that exactly is what I'm trying to highlight, right? If you get 35 after spending 45 seconds, let's say, or 30 seconds, let's say, you're stuck. Is it 36 or 34? So be careful. I mean, if the options were not this close, right? If the options were spaced out, then we would have given it a shot. But here, I think you should be careful. So let's take it up. I think time now to discuss this. Yeah. So I would still suggest that skip is one solution that you must keep in mind, unless you're really confident and you're ready to take a chance. Because remember, at times you may go wrong. See, we are definitely not going to find what is 3.02 whole square, right? We will take 3 square. Now there is a chance that you may go wrong by, I mean, it all depends on how close you are to the right answer, right? How close you are to the right answer. So you may go wrong. You should be prepared for that. You should be prepared for that. The only point that I'm trying to mention here is don't get stuck. Don't spend 60 seconds and then say, "Ke ye nahi ho payega," right? This is not my, this is not something that I would solve. You should skip it instantly. So either skip it or do something in like 30-45 seconds and mark some answer there, some appropriate answer there. Okay, so let's take it up. Now let me just rewrite the question here so that it looks a little easier to follow. Square root of 3135 divided by 3.02 whole squared. This divided by square root of 48.7 divided by 80.79. This multiplied by 17.69 divided by square root of 16.24, which is equal to question mark squared into square root of 784 divided by 111.78. Let's find out who has framed this question. Made our life so complex. Yeah, easy. Some of you say it's easy. Yeah, good. Pradeep says it's easy. Rahul is confident that the answer is 34. And it is easy considering the earlier questions. Apurva Rawat also says it's easy. On the other hand, we have Nagini who says I'm not able to solve. Yeah, so clearly a mixed response here. Now, how do you solve it? See, I think what you need to really focus on is this question mark square. Remember that this question is involved, I mean, we have to find out what comes in place of question mark, but it has involved a square of that. So I would try to represent everything else in terms of perfect squares here so that I can take the square root. Because eventually, for you to find out what comes in place of question mark, you have to take square root of something, right? You do all this jumble shifting and all that, right? Like 784 will go on the other side in the denominator, 111.78 will go on the other side in the numerator and all that. But then finally, I would try to do something where numbers look like perfect squares so that finally when you have square root question mark square equals to something here, I can apply square root on both the sides easily and see which one is the correct answer here. Okay, so keeping that in mind, let's solve it. I mean, that's an approach that you must follow for such type of questions. The missing value or the approximate value that we may have to find out may involve only question mark also sometimes. If it is only question mark, then you don't have to really go with that idea. But since it is question mark square, try to represent every number in terms of a perfect square or, you know, as much as possible. Okay, so what I would do now is question mark square is equal to, see again this would mean that you would have practiced a lot, right? You must be good in numbers. Like I know I'm better off replacing 3135 as 3136, approximately 3136. 3135 is 3136. I'll tell you why we are taking as 3136 later, but let's just change it. So 3135 is 3136, 3.02, let's take it as 3 square. Now one technique that I've discussed in the video of simplifications, if you go through the TalentSprint's video of simplifications, you would know that if it is like, let's say A by B divided by C by D, you know, while writing in the first step itself, you must say this is like A by B into D by C. Nothing new here. I'm sure all of you know this. So what I would do is I will change this division to multiplication. You all would agree with me that multiplying numbers is easier than division, right? Multiplication is an easier option when compared to division. So we will convert this division sign to multiplication. How do you do that? Replace division by multiplication and reciprocate the fraction here. So what is in the denominator will go in the numerator, 80.79. And what is in the numerator will go in the denominator, 48.7. You understand? You're getting it? Moreover, I think I'll do it a little differently, right? Let me just, I'll write the same thing first, right? 3135 and this is like 3.02 whole squared. I'm copying the same question first. So what we have done, we have converted this division to multiplication. 80.79 divided by 48.7. Multiplication remains multiplication, and don't convert this multiplication to division. I mean, this like makes no sense, right? 17.69 divided by square root of 16.24. And now this particular fraction which is there on the question mark side has to be taken on the other side, right? So what do? 111.78 goes to the numerator, and square root of 784 comes in the denominator, right? That is it. Now let me do the approximations. So what I would do is I'll show you what approximations we have done in a different color. So what I'm doing is this 3135 becomes 3136 approximately, right? This 3.02 is being taken as 3 square approximately. 80.79 I'll take it as 81 approximately. 48.7 I'll take it as 49 approximately. 17.69 let us take it as 18. 16.24 let me take it as 16. I mean, I want perfect squares, right? Square root of 16 is 4. I mean, I want it to be like easy to simplify. That's the reason 48.7 has been replaced by 49. I don't have to tell you why, because 49 square under root is 7. 80.79 has been taken as 81. Of course, anybody would take it as 81 only, but more so here because we are trying to look at perfect squares. I mean, I have question mark square on the left hand side. Similarly, 3.02 has been taken 3. Why did we take 3135 as 3136? Because, you know, in the back of my mind, I know that 56 square is 3136. Now, are we expected to learn up to 56 square by heart? No. But I'm sure if you have spent like couple of hours in practicing on squares, this number would get stuck with you. Or when you do an approximate calculation of square root of 3135, you'll find out that it is 56. Yeah. 111.78, let us take it as 112. Yeah. And 784 is a perfect square, right? I mean 28. 784 under root is 28, right? Square root of 74 is 28. Now do the calculation. Now what happens? So if I write the next step, square root of 3136 is 56 divided by 3 square is 9 into 81. Square root of 49. What is square root of 49? 7 into this is 18 as it is, right? This is, you understand? I think just give me a second to not to confuse you guys. I will change. Yeah, I'll change it as follows, right? I'm using the darker pen too. So this is 56 square root of 3136 divided by the denominator has 3 square, which is 9, multiplied by 81 as it is. Square root of 49 in the denominator makes it 7, right? And 18 as it is again. Then square root of 16 is 4, right? Into 112. And what is square root of 784? 28, right? 28 square is 784. 28 square is 784. Now simplify this. This is question mark square again. Remember, question mark square. Yeah. Now do the calculation. What happens? 28 here. How do I make it simple? Yeah. So 28 goes how many times here? 28 goes 4 times in my view, right? 4 into 28 is 112. Cancelled. Yeah. 4 into 28 is 112. So that 112 gets cancelled. Then what happens? This is 2 times. 7 goes 8 times. So we have 8 into 81 into 2. But 8 into 2 is 16, so 16 into 81. That's it. I mean, this is what we are looking for. 16 into 81. So what happened? Question mark square is 16 into 81. Apply square root on both the sides. Question mark will be square root of 16 into 81. Square root of 16 is 4 and square root of 81 is 9. 4 9 is 36. So I think 36 is the closest here. 36 option 5. Yeah. You have not done too much of deviation. 5 was made 6. 48.7 has been increased by 0.3. This has been increased by 0.21. This has been reduced by 0.02. Increased by 0.31. Reduced by 0.24. Of course, sometimes even 0.02 can, give a big difference, but otherwise no way out. Skip. This is solution number 1, and what you have done is solution number 2. And do not go by the length of the explanation and number of steps that you have put on paper, right? You don't do all this drama in the exam. You directly start putting up what is important. I mean, like if you are solving in the exam, you should start from this step. Let me highlight. You should start from this step. You directly write question mark square equals to this, because 3135 will give you 56. This is 9. This is 7. This is 81. This is whatever 18, 4, and so on, and then do the calculation. So I think only one step when you do it yourself in the exam. Okay, all that I've done before this is to explain you how to arrive at the answer. Okay, so 36 is the final answer. Option 5. So on an average, people have spent 125 seconds, which is not needed in my view, right? I mean, you can just do it in about 45 seconds maximum. Why is the accuracy rate 43% is something that we need to look at. I mean, it could still be possible. Remember that a slight deviation in your calculation may lead to a wrong answer, because options again are like, it's too close. So if you are in no mood to take any chance, skip it. Yeah. But if you're prepared to take that little bit of risk, proceed with the solution. Okay. Let me see if you have any queries for this one before we close the session today. Harita says, I'm sure today I'm going to get these calculations while sleeping. Yeah. And you should be glad about it, because in your dreams also then you're practicing for the exam, right? I'm sure that's going to happen. I mean, if you spend too much time on numbers every day for the next 17-18 days, you will definitely get such dreams, which are good dreams in my view, right? Yeah. Any questions here before I close it? It was easy considering all the given earlier questions is what Apurva that mentioned. Yeah, actually easy if you see. I mean, after you have done it, you feel like simple. Okay, so let's close it now. I think you must also get back to your preparation. Of course, this also has been like your preparation, but you know what you have been doing, what is your study plan for the day. So just follow that. Go have something and get back to your preparation. All right. Should we close it now? Yeah, I don't see any questions here. Waiting for the reasoning class, irritating puzzles. Now, why are you waiting for that then? I mean, puzzles, yeah, I know can get irritating, but don't wait for it. See, let me tell you before I leave you all that the next session is on Friday, which is 22nd of September. So on Friday, 22nd of September at 7 p.m. the same time, unless we change the calendar. I mean, there's been a demand from many of you that we should change it to 6 p.m. We would consider that. I think if you want to keep yourselves informed about the schedule, you either look at the events calendar by checking out the TalentSprint program, right? I mean, there's this events calendar, or if you have not signed up for a program, don't worry. Follow our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll get this alert about all these live classes. Okay. Now, before I close, I honestly feel or wish I could solve more questions, but yeah, detailed explanation so that you realize where you're actually going wrong and focus on that, right? I would still say that you should practice more and more on calculations. There's no other shortcut, right? The only shortcut to score more in the exams is to be able to do your calculations really quick, and that can happen when you practice, right? Practice is the only key. Somebody says make the session on Thursday. I am sorry about that. Thursday cannot be your session, because Thursday is the other session for TalentSprint students, right? Every Tuesday, every Thursday, and every Saturday we have a 6 p.m. session for students who have enrolled for the TalentSprint program, and we will not be able to change that schedule. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are ruled out. Only Mondays and Fridays are left. So your next session will be on Friday. Time we would confirm. Please follow our YouTube channel, or better subscribe to it to get these details. Thank you once again for joining us in this live session brought to you by Govt and TalentSprint. I hope all of you have had a good time, and when we meet next time, we'll try and solve questions from the other areas, right? I mean, the whole purpose here is to touch various concepts across different topics and get you like fully ready before you go for the examination, right? You have to be really confident before you walk into the examination center. So don't panic if you have not been able to solve some questions today, because these were the difficult questions, the toughest questions shared by Govt. So doesn't really matter, but I think important to learn from your mistakes, right? So learn from your mistakes and make sure that you don't repeat these in your examination, right? A mistake is not really a mistake if you've learned something from it. So I think don't worry if you've got wrong. I could see a few comments saying that today's session was like spoiled because I could not solve even one question and all that. So what? You've learned so many concepts is what you should be happy about. Okay. On that note, let me close it here. Thank you once again for joining us. Please share your valuable feedback about the session and help us improve. We will meet again on Friday if you have not enrolled for the TalentSprint program. But if you have enrolled for the TalentSprint program, the TalentSprint community, the TalentSprint pool of students, we will meet tomorrow itself at 6 p.m. right? Remember, Tuesday 6 p.m. we will have a live session on your regular problem solving. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. for those who have enrolled for the TalentSprint program. Otherwise on Friday at 7 p.m. tentatively, right? Till then, keep practicing and take very good care of yourselves. Bye.